Hello everyone. Before we get started on this week's episode, just a quick word that YouTube in all its infinite wisdom has decided that some of the Die Party games are now not suitable for advertising. It doesn't mean a whole lot for the content. I'm not going to censor the videos in any way, but if you'd like to lend your support so that Die Party can continue to grow, please check out the Patreon or subscribe on the Twitch channel. Enjoy the episode. Hello everyone, welcome back. What is this game? What is this game? I've never seen it before. You guys have never played this game before in my life. Oh my god. Welcome everyone
to episode 1.
welcome to character creation of Die Party Fuck Hurricanes. Today we'll be making characters who shoot guns at hurricanes.
I'm going to roleplay as the hurricane. I'm a category 4. But if I fail my role, I will become a tropical depression.
I'm a category 4 saucy wench.
No.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Die Party Dead Men's Crest, week number 2. We started this game, I think, 2 months ago. But due to unforeseen consequences of high winds hitting low undercarriage of cold weather, we had to take a unforeseen break, but we're back. Everyone's alive. I think maybe Prilo, you can go into this, but I think everyone's pretty good, right? No one.
Yeah, I think only in Florida we pretty much got a little bit of wind damage and maybe some flooding in some areas, but not anything bad.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah. We were on the ship and a storm hit. We've been role playing this entire time.
Oh shit, that's true.
We forgot to turn the stream on.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm a level 20 pirate now. What up?
Or maybe it was just another acid trip. I don't know.
My entire life feels like breaks between acid trips. Can I just say that? But yeah, like this is 7th Seas 2nd edition with the thematic nature of it ripped out. We've been focusing mostly on a pirate story with the system from John Wick Presents put into the back end of this. So it's pretty faithful. If you want to see what we're all talking about, if you're a fan of 7th Seas and you don't know what this is, check out the character creation and the world building episodes. They go into pretty excruciating detail as to how the world was built and what's in it. Yeah, shit. Let's go around and introduce everyone who's back from their extended vacay. Mr. Eugene, who's playing Eric, son of Eric. That's with a K, not a C, but it's also with a C and not a K. How you doing, sir?
Well, my name is with a K. My father's name is with a C. His father's name is with 2 C's. It gets crazy from there.
What's your son spelled with?
It's just EK.
Double C.
We call him Eric.
Okay.
Anyway, hey guys, I don't even know who I am anymore. I remember that one joke about my character. But honestly, I think that's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, we can build you up again.
I'm looking forward to the rest of the cast carrying me. Possibly literally after I pass out from dehydration.
Yeah, that's right. You can't drink water.
I was a wee bit careless. In making a deal with a witch.
I remember now. It was you can drink water, but it doesn't refresh you.
I can drink whatever I want, but it turns to sand in my mouth.
Yeah, he still has the thirst and need to drink, but it won't kill him.
Yeah, I have the desire to drink, but it won't kill me. Because every liquid I put in my mouth turns to sand. Yeah. Now I can eat juicy fruits, and that doesn't turn to sand, but it does not ever quench the thirst. So I'm Eric, son of Eric, the ever thirsty.
Hence the conversation we had about soup.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it a food or is it a drink?
I can eat soup. And it will not turn to ash. It will, however, do nothing to quench my thirst.
Well, it will turn to ash if the lady's like, "You're gonna drink that soup," and you're like, "No."
Yeah, no. If I eat all the bits out of the soup and it's only broth, and I go to like tip it up, we're in trouble. Like it's not gonna work.
Shit, man. You invented Campbell's Chunky Soup because
I definitely did. Also, I will never be able to finish my cereal because the best part is you pour the Cocoa Puffs into the milk, and then it turns it into chocolate milk, and then you drink the chocolate milk afterwards.
As a man who's lactose intolerant, that makes me decidedly sick. Anyway,
it's not my fault. Your body has a weakness.
It's not. Yeah, it's not our fault. Your body is wrong.
I'm sorry if that's the weakness that I was given in exchange for the rest of my
superpowers
life, and the fact that I don't need sleep that much. I'll gladly take it.
Oh man,
Superman has one weakness: milk.
He has an intolerance to dairy products.
Changes the series a lot. Anyway, no, I'm excited to be back. As always, I love working with Henley and Dr. Wreckage and James and Prylor. It is a pleasure to get back to working with you guys. So I cannot wait.
Nice. So yeah, man of the hour, Mr. Prylor, survivor. He Hurricane Destroyer. I hear from the radio that you saved an entire continent by fist fighting a couple of hurricanes. Tell us about it.
They may have bloviated a little bit there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. I don't know, man.
Regale us with your experience.
Of my experience of the hurricanes?
Sure, man.
Yeah, it was not fun. Had to pack up a whole bunch of stuff, tie it down, batten the hatches, put up some hurricane shutters.
Did you have any family pets and stuff like that? Like, did they have to go with you? Was that like a nightmare?
Did not.
Okay.
I don't have any pets right now, so that was thankful.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd
that I
hate
didn't
to
have to
fight
move
World
them.
War II
But
fighter planes.
what's that?
I said I'd hate to have to fight World War fighter planes as well.
He's
I missed the joke.
Yeah, I missed that too.
Hurricanes. The other plane that wasn't a Spitfire.
right. It was.
And I just would like to know.
I got the joke, James. I just want you to know.
Thank you.
History buffs sure will enjoy this one.
This episode.
I know.
Prylor is being very modest. As a fellow inhabitant of the East Coast, the original projection for that hurricane was just rolling up the East Coast, causing just massive destruction. And I know for a fact, Prylor punched that hurricane right in the goddamn gullet and made it turn west. And it turned into, like, it was a tropical depression before it left Florida. So Prylor single-handedly saved the rest of the continental United States.
Yeah, there's a baby Prylor. Yeah. Well, no, there's a baby Prylor, and he stood out the front of it with his baby Prylor, and he said, "You leave me and my son alone." And then
There's a
You
baby
go, you
Prylor?
shall not pass.
I didn't even know this. It's news to me.
Yeah, so how you been, man? Aside from all the tomfoolery with the weather.
Honestly, I hadn't touched a computer game or the computer in like 2 weeks. Like pretty much after we ended the last episode, it was just I had to do all the work. So I have been doing just hurricane stuff and evacuating. Nothing fun at all.
So I mean, did you have a lot of? I imagine there would have been a lot of downtime, like a lot of like things that like time that just wasn't happening and stuff like that. So did you read? Like, what did you do? Like, what was the thing?
I kind of slept because I was working too much to get all of this stuff down and getting shutters on other people's houses as well. So there wasn't really much I could do except for sleep.
Get it with the community, yeah? Get it with
Yeah,
the community.
I'm trying to make people that were with me not so worried about the hurricanes and stuff. So not a lot of fun. Sorry, it's not as
Romantic.
glamorous. Yeah, or romantic.
No, that's
It's
fine.
just-
I understand. Yeah. I've only lived through one hurricane, and I doubt it was as big as what you were, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. Man. Well, glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get you right back into those role-playing booties of yours, and we can...
That's what I'm hoping for. Let's do it.
Tell us a little about your dude, Prylor.
Oh, yeah. Bjorn?
Sven.
Bjorn Svensson.
Svensson.
he's was it Berserker? What was it? It was spelled weird, but he's like a berserker.
Berserker with superfluous wise.
Yeah. So, yeah, he is from Thrin, which is like a Nordic country, kind of Scandinavian-esque. And what did I do? Oh yeah, I gave up my love of country to the witch. So I've yet to see how that'll play out. We'll see.
Yeah. Seeing people flag their country flags on their white picket homes offends you. That's all that.
No, I go down and tear them down.
Yeah. And last but not least, from the player side, we have Mr. James C. UK, aka Samuel Stone himself. Sir, hello. What's been going on?
Hello.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Not much.
Regale us with stories.
I haven't got many stories, I'm afraid, because it's that interesting. However, we will be. It will be my birthday in 2 weeks on a Thursday,
Nice.
because it is
That's
technically Thursday for me and for yourself.
What are you, 24 years old now?
Yes, let's say that. We'll say that. We'll say that. Yep. Yeah. Sure. We'll go with that first.
I didn't know we were the same age. That's awesome.
Oh, we're all 24-year-olds here. Except for
that's
Wreckage. He's getting up in the age. He's a 25-year-old man, so.
I'm actually 26.
Oh my god. But yeah,
well old.
what have you been streaming the past couple of weeks?
Oh god, role playing stuff, and we started doing a board game on Thursdays. Hero Crest, which was my gateway into like all of this. Yes, classic MB stroke Games Workshop thing. Great fun. If a little old and dated, but hey.
And that's on
the charm
tabletop?
of it.
You're just rocking?
Yeah, tabletop simulator. Yeah. Found a really good mod. Been changing bits as well because it doesn't all like work very well. Some bits, like some of the cards, I'm having to put my own cards on, and make it all uniform and look far nicer than it currently is. We're playing the American version because the American version is completely different to the UK version, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean they got to localize it. They got to put in. They got to get rid of the tea and crumpets and stuff like that. So
yes, tea and crumpets because that's all we eat. We don't eat anything else. We just eat tea and crumpets all day, every day. It's great.
I'm surprised you can sustain an entire country on that. To be honest with you.
Or we can. Occasionally we do like pie and mash as well. But that's if you're like East End of London. That's about it. Occasional fish and chips.
So tell us about Samuel Stone. What you remember? What did you give up and all that stuff?
He is a big, simple brute who is probably stronger than he probably doesn't know his own strength, and he can count to 6 without the 5.
Greater than 6. Yes, I remember now.
And he doesn't understand much, and he needs complicated things he may need explaining to him in very simple terms.
What was the thing that you gave up?
My fear.
That's right. Yeah,
we don't know how that's going to affect it. It's being scared of things as much. But yeah, it'll either go 2 ways. It'll either make things more scary, or he'll become reckless. But yeah.
Yeah.
But he might not even understand what's going on because he's a bit simple.
Yeah. And just for the sake of brevity, I will be playing Ricardo Mendez. God, what was the fucking country name? I can't remember.
Yours?
Yeah.
Right. So why don't we, if I can...
it was...
there it is. I can bring us back to the map.
Cool.
Yay.
Yeah, I just can't remember the name of it. It was... I know.
Perezia.
Perezia, that's what it was, yeah. And he gave up his firstborn.
Or Pereza.
Pereza, yeah. He gave up his firstborn. His first... Yeah, I think it was his first child that he gave up in order to get off the island. That's just the type of piece of shit he is. Henley's country is a potato. I don't remember it being a potato. I remember it being a golden potato.
I know.
But yeah, that's me. And last but not least, we have our game master for the session and for all sessions regarding Dead Man's Crest, Mr. Dr. Wreckage. What up, sir? How you doing?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dead Man's Crest. For those of you watching the VOD, in the future, this just one episode goes into the other, but as the other players have said, it's been over a month since we've played Dead Man's Crest because of hurricanes and even more yet form in the Atlantic. Perhaps you are watching this in the blasted out ruins of Waterworld, where the continents of the earth have flooded from the ceaseless and endless hurricanes.
I should contact Kevin Costner about him coming on the show. I reckon he'd be alright.
Yeah, no, it's very.
I mean, he's not doing anything else with his career right now. So.
No, he is. He was in Spider-Man, dude. He was in Spider-Man.
He's no.
I thought it was Superman.
I'm very stoked to get into the heart of this game, but if I speak only for myself, it was already confusing enough, the rules of this particular system, and I'm even less confident now that we've had a whole month in between. So I've planned a very mellow session, and we're just going to ease ourselves back in. So I apologize, especially to people who might watch the VOD in the future, where this is maybe a bit of a slow episode instead of the, oh my God, they're finally on the ship. Which, speaking of, last episode, you guys were on a ship. That was the very last thing that happened, is that we learned the name of the crew and the ship and etc. Mm-hmm. And we just left off there. So we can come back into that now that we are all prepared and ready. It is past dawn. And the crew has begun to file out from their night watch, and those who are sleeping are now taking up the rigging and the mast. And the first thing that happens in the morning on any ship is a watch head count. Also, I'm hearing myself from somebody. It's really tweaking me out. It's fine. So a watch head count is going to be called, and this sturdy, tall, incredibly tanned, and befreckled woman stomps up on deck. Pryler's muted, Eugene's muted. James, can you mute yourself real quick? La 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 la. I am no, yeah, no. I'm hearing it from Dave. It's from Dave.
It can't be.
Well, it is.
Maybe you should turn off the stream.
I don't ever have the stream on, and I only hear myself, not you.
Well, I'm telling you, it's impossible. So,
all right, I'll just go insane. That's fine. So this woman stomps up on deck and calls roll, basically. And in this particular iteration, she has a scrawny, thin individual behind her with quill and a large made book, where he has a whole bunch of writing, and as he the entire day watch assembles along the port railing on the top deck. So the entire day watch assembles along the port railing of the top deck. And this woman stomps from one side to the other with this man in tow. And with each individual, she's like, Name. He's like, Salty Pete, or whatever. And she turns to the guy in the back, and he is like, "Was that Peter Bartholomew?" And he's like, "Well, yes, but my friends call me Salty Pete." And he's like, "Right then." And he sort of like writes down like it's him, and then they go from person to person to person. Are the player characters assembled for the day watch in the roll call line, or is anybody attempting something else?
Well, we're not even sure if we signed up, though, are we? That's the thing.
We know we didn't sign up.
Yeah.
You know you didn't sign up because you magicked onto the ship.
Yeah.
But we met at the end of the last episode, we had met one of the
One Eye
members of the crew who basically said, "Yeah, you're on the ship.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're drunk, but it's not an uncommon practice. Welcome to the ship. You can sign the paperwork later."
Yeah.
He did say it wouldn't be an issue. Like sometimes people just stumble on board ships without doing the proper paperwork. And, you know, when you're a contracted crew, it's not right. So the question is, are you guys assembling for the day watch, or are you trying to put this off? Is anybody doing something different than the group?
I assemble for the day's watch.
Same.
All right.
I'm thinking the only one that would maybe do this is not assemble is myself, but I don't think I have any reason not to do it, right? Like,
Right.
So I actually like clasp Stone on the shoulders. Like I have to reach up, but I'm a fairly tall individual myself. Not as big as Stone, but large. Come on, big man. Time for roll call.
Oh, okay.
Walk up
I'll
towards
just
where
go
we.
with it.
yeah, I'll
And I'll go on a point at the woman, and I'll say to like, oh god, I need names. Eric, I'll say to is that Captain Batbeard, pointing at the woman.
No idea, big man. Don't think so. Lacks some of the whiskers on the face. Not all of them, though.
Oh, is that what it? Oh, I've occasionally seen some women with beards before.
Me too.
I thought your country was a land of opportunity. You're making it seem like the women there are.
Whose land?
Yeah, who are you talking about?
Why, yours, Samuel. You come from the Emerald Isles, do you not? I can't
Yeah, but
remember
I'm
my
a
accent,
sailor,
so I'm trying to get
sailed
to it.
around the places a bit.
You're jostled out of inter-party conversation as this large woman, tall, not wide, just to clarify, stomps with thunder in front of Eric, son of Eric, and she says, "Eyes front, sailor."
And a good morning to you too, beautiful.
Damn, got him.
She punches you. She punches you in the shoulder. This is not meant to hurt you, but it is meant to show that the force of her punch could be painful if
Check
desired.
his name on the crew, then put his name on the crew on fucking
I'll just
list,
push her
please.
overboard.
So she swats you in the shoulder, Eric, and she says, "Stow that talk, sailor. Name."
Eric, son of Eric.
She turns back to the man with the book, and he's like, "Oh, do you mean Enrico?"
Nope. Eric, son of Eric.
"I don't see his name on the list, ma'am." She turns back to you and says, "Explain yourself, sailor."
So I'd been drinking.
Say no more. Martin, produce a contract. He's like, oh, I thought we had all this figured out last night. Oh, very well. So he like flips pages in his big book, and this is one of those old leather-bound, handcrafted. There is no non-handcrafted books at this point, and many of the pages are not sewn in. And he takes out a page that is a contract, and he presents it to you, and he says, "You say your name was Eric, son of Eric?"
I did indeed. And just to save you some time, you're going to need 3 more. My friends were also drinking.
Oh, bloody hell. All right, then. Is you and your 3 friends literate? Can you write your names, etc.?
I can.
I'll step up at this point, almost like in between, I guess Eric and the man that he's talking to. I don't think we've got a name for him yet, and I'm just like, yes, I will do it myself. My name is Garcia, and I take
one at a time. I'll each have to sign a contract. It's not like you're just one person.
Do we have to sign another contract?
Yeah, Stone, but I don't think this one is all that complicated.
I don't like contracts anymore.
It's fairly. I feel you, brother, but it's very straightforward. You agree to be a privateer under the contract and employ of Captain Ratbeard to his friends, but see, I'm not supposed to say his name out loud on the ship, you see, but the contract technically has his legal name in case there's legal issues. You understand? But you agree to be a privateer on the contract of Ratbeard. I'm sure you've done it before. It's all very much the same. Equal share, equal vote. He final say, that sort of thing. No liability.
I'm sorry, but I do not see a space on the paper for speciality. Where do we put something like that?
Why would you put that on a contract just to work for him?
So that I do not do the things I am not good at.
Well, that's not how a ship works, sailor. You do what you're told.
Ah, I see.
Is there a length of service? You're holding the contract, so you haven't given it to me.
Right. So length of service is till this journey's done.
That's vague.
Well, so you can get off at any port if you want, and then you forfeit any other further profits and ventures, etc. But until we comes back here, you're gonna, we're not coming back here just because you want to be done.
What does that mean?
It means they'll let us off wherever we want to get off, but we don't get to choose where we go.
You're signing up for an entire tour there, Stone.
You can get off wherever you like, so it's not... Look, the contract just agrees that you will follow orders and do the things that we tell you to do, and in exchange, you get your fair share. It's not that complicated. This is standard privateering.
All right, I can't read or write.
Well, that's fine. See, you just... that's why I say it to you, and then I present you with this, see here, the paper, and I just tell you to make an X here, and that's legally binding.
What's an X?
2 lines is perpendicular.
Is that like it?
On the diagonal as well.
Oh, I just do a plus sign.
Yeah, you just quirk that slightly, like about 90 degrees.
Oh, all right.
Right then. So, Eric, son of Eric, sign your name. Else we've got to throw you overboards, and that's no fun.
Hey, why are you not putting an X?
Well, he's literate, son, so he can sign his name, which is preferable if you can.
Oh.
Right then. What did you say your name was? He steps up to Bjorn.
I'm Bjorn Svensson.
Oh, all right then. So all that same stuff I said to him, he's paying attention?
Yep.
You gonna sign your name?
Of course.
Can you sign your name?
I can.
Okie doke.
Start to sign. Make an X. Hand back the paper.
All right, and use Ricardo.
Yes, my name is Garcia del Rio, and
I'm confused. Oh, is it?
Stone. No more talking, buddy. No more talking.
Oh, okay.
Right then.
I'll
So,
purposefully not put my name on the paper. Obviously.
when you say purposely, you mean you'll put your fake name that you just came up with on the paper.
I'll put one of my many aliases on the paper. Yes.
Don't give me many aliases. Give me a fake name.
Yeah, Garcia.
I'm not going to remember tons of aliases.
I'm writing them all down on my sheet. Don't worry about it. I've got the one down.
All right, so you write okay. All right, and then you said it's fine. Look, I'll just help you here. If you agree to all this, you make the X, right? And this is what an X looks like, and he draws an X.
What about just my fingerprint?
I mean, it's a little, I'll guess it's not really standard procedure, but it feels like binding to me.
Stone, why don't you just use your finger to make an X? It's best.
Oh, like finger painting. Oh, I like finger painting.
Right then, just put, here you go.
Yeah, because he does, like I said, he doesn't know his strength. So if he's using a quill, he'll probably break the quill.
The tall woman then says,
anything in particular, like on this contract that might be like, is there any roll that I can make or something like that, or can I just read the paper in more detail or something? Because I know you don't want to make rolls, so.
Yeah, you don't make random skill checks.
You don't make random skill checks, yeah. But is there like a way that I can verify that we're not, which like the other people haven't signed away like the right to like leave in case they don't want to, like association by criminal acts and that sort of stuff? Is there anything weird in here about like that? Like
this is just a contract to protect you and the crew legally. It's not magical or anything, so it can't.
I know, I get that, but like in the case
not,
of like, is there any like thing in there the captain can kill you if you don't agree to like board this merchant vessel and take everything they're worth and that sort of shit?
I mean, yeah, actually, it does say,
I imagine what Wreckage was describing was a standard privateer's contract with no hidden provisos, but when you sign on as a privateer, you basically say, I'm going to follow orders, and if I don't, you can shoot me in the face.
Right, because then you're a mutineer, and mutineering is illegal. Signing this contract does mean he can shoot you and kill you if you become a mutineer.
Okay.
So it's not. This isn't a contract that is in particular south of proper. This is standard.
Yeah. But what protects the crew is that everybody has a vote on what happens on the ship, to include replacing the captain.
Right.
So should the captain shoot a member of the crew without valid reason, the crew can vote to replace the captain and then shoot the captain in the face.
I'm just making sure we weren't signing up for indentured slavitude. So,
which is why I asked about the term of service.
Another tattoo.
Yay, more tattoos!
So then the tall woman speaks up and she says, all right, sailors, I expect you to be worth the extra trouble.
Trouble? No trouble from us.
She continues down the line, and there's a couple people after you. Nobody else, notably, is a drunk stowaway who didn't sign the contract last night. When she finishes roll, she says, right, so everyone's accounted for. First order of business.
Breakfast.
No. Damn. First order of business. Swab the deck, trim the yard iron, pull the sail, take over for the night watch, etc., etc. Hop to it. And everybody shouts, yes, ma'am, and everyone starts starting to get those things done.
Who here doesn't have a dot in sailing?
I have 1 dot in sailing. Yeah, I know exactly how to sail 1/5 of the time.
What about the guy that came with us, the one-legged dude?
He's got tons of sailing.
No, did he sign in and all that shit?
He did not come to morning roll.
There you go.
Row.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he looking worse for wear?
I mean, he died. Like, he nearly died last night.
Yeah.
So... Then he got shoved in a magic barrel and teleported magically, and also he made a contract with the witch, and you guys don't even know what he offered up.
Good, yeah. I grab a mop and I start to mopping the deck.
As long as everybody has 1 dot in sailing, which I believe is the case, thankfully, you will...
Stone is going to take what she said literally and is going to be trying to mop the deck while hopping.
Now, Stone would surely have heard the term "hop to it" previously, and had it explained to him previously that it is not literal.
I like to imagine that on his previous ship, they thought it was hilarious and never told him. Please let that be a thing.
I mean, they also abandoned him, right? So, like, when they grew tired of it, they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Right. So anybody who has a dot in sailing, that doesn't mean you can do any job, but it does mean that you know without being told
terminology and stuff. Yeah.
Well, no, not necessarily, but it means that you know how to fall into the job that you are equipped for. Mm-hmm. So if you have 1 dot in sailing, you know that you're scrubbing the deck. If you have 2 dots in sailing, then you're handling some of the rope work. If you have 3 dots in sailing, then you can be up in the rigging and doing that, like that sort of thing.
Oh, good point. Should I say what my 4th dot was, or the additional dot I took? Because you gave me a reward for the best story last week.
Right.
Last month, whatever, last session.
Oh, that's right.
I took 1 dot in brawl.
All right.
No, it's all right. What did you take it in, sorry?
Brawl.
Of course you did.
So, is there anybody who does not it's time to work? And the amount of expertise that you have in sailing determines the type of job you're doing, as I previously stated. Is there anybody who's opposed to doing that work, who doesn't, who wanders off or is lazy or uses this opportunity to do something other than work?
I'm going to use this opportunity as a chance to get to know as many of the other crew members as I can and become friends with them.
Sure. Why don't you show us a little bit of how that looks like? Like, give us because I believe you are on swabbing the deck duty.
Oh yeah, I'm swabbing the deck. So go up to one of them. It's a nice morning. Good day for swabbing decks.
I.
Merrick, son of Eric. Yourself?
Oh, I'm, they call me Barty.
Body?
Barty.
Barty. Ah, it's a good solid name. Where are you from, Barty?
I mean, rather not say, actually. It's all the same to you.
That's fine, fine. I understand. Man can have a complicated past. What brings you to the ship?
Needed a job?
Yeah? Is everything you wanted it to be?
Well, one day out.
Well, obviously you chose this ship for a reason.
It was the one that was asking when I needed a job.
Fair enough. What you hoping to get out of it, other than a job? I mean,
Pay?
you got anybody waiting for you at home?
No.
So you're being as invasive as possible to make friends. I like it.
You're a wonderful conversationist. Have I told you that, Barty?
No, you never said that before.
You're a wonderful conversationalist.
Okay. I'm flattered I am.
Yeah, you missed a spot.
Oh, well, see,
I'm just kidding, Barty. I'm just kidding. You're doing great.
I'm doing the rigging, so I don't think you don't miss spots and you tying ropes.
Well, you could, and we would all die, Barty.
You couldn't die from missing the rig wrong. It's just inefficiency in the... Well, that's why you're swabbing the deck, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
So the if you're going to spend first shift doing some various amounts of that, that is the various amounts in which it will play out. I will spare the other players from not getting any of the spotlight while we do that 15 or 20 times.
I really just wanted to do some kind of panache roll.
Sadly,
panache.
Sadly, this game doesn't have random skill rolls for random rewards. It only does it for things at stake, and like then you have to do a big whole thing. And I can't do that just for you making friends.
So yeah,
at least not to my understanding of the rules.
Technically speaking, you could make this a drama scene, and then they could roll their approach. But there is
But there would have to be consequences and other and other objectives, and like the way that you build this system does not have you roll for funsies.
Yeah, there is no like. If you wanted to,
I would like to explain as to why I'm making friends with the crew.
Sure.
The ultimate goal for Eric, son of Eric, is to make friends with the crew, then the lady who was taking roll, and eventually the captain. So he could perhaps get this boat to go where he needs it to go, which is somewhere where he can find information about the ship that attacked his village.
Right. I see what you I see what you're saying, but
that's absolutely fine.
It's not how the system works. So when you want to you will be allowed to role play making friends with people, and they will either be receptive to it or not based on whatever it is that I imagine their character is. Right. Then when you want to try and accomplish the thing that you're talking about,
the mutiny. I mean, what? No. No.
Then when you try and to there will be a step further along in the process you've just described that will require roles.
Okay.
This just from my understanding of the system, and we're all new to it, and also a month off of dealing with it. So my understanding presently is that I would not have you roll for this, and we would just role play it.
Yeah, there is. So it's worth pointing out that this system, you only ever make rolls when there is something at stake, when there's a risk.
And I believe they even use the term like significant or dire or something. They use a term like there can't just be, and the thing that's at risk is that people don't like you. That's not enough.
That is not enough. No, it's like when there's a social risk involved, it's like when, say, you're putting something personal at stake, or when your pure existence to living is based on whether or not you can lie correctly. Being on a ship and making friends has nothing to do with that. What could work later on is you doing all this like groundwork and role playing, essentially getting to know everyone. When it comes down to making the roll from the supposed hypothetical mutiny,
it'll be relevant that you did it.
It'll be relevant that you did it. But other than that, it's like there is no like I make a finance roll to get this guy to like me because it's not D&D, basically.
It's just not that kind of system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to that's actually I'm going to struggle with that too because I love having the dice decide often as many things as possible. I like to have the dice decide whether or not someone, like a character, likes someone. For example, in Vampire at I was going to say Vampire at Night. In LA at Night, there is, for those of you who are watching that show, there is a player character who's trying to get a non-player character to like them, and I throw that to the dice. And there's actually two player characters who are both trying to get the NPC to like them, and I let the dice decide which one which one is starting to win favor with that NPC. So I'm the type of GM who tends to throw it to the dice, and I'm going to also struggle with does he make friends or does he not make friends? Because the dice, is it just my call?
Look at the skill. Look at the skill rating it's got, and then decide based on that. If you're not doing a roll, that's what I would do.
I'm going to make it based on role playing. So in this example, Eric has role played how he's making friends with people, and it's kind of pushy, which is going to work on a lot of the people in the crew, because a lot of the people in the crew are going to be simple sailors, and a lot of people, it's also going to not work on the people in the crew who that type of approach isn't going to work for. So that's basically what I'm going to base the over-under on, how many people end up liking Eric. Or, well, that is to say, in this shift, he's approaching X number of people, and X number of people will like him based on the number of people for whom that approach would work.
I mean, I will say this. One, I like the system, and I like how it handles that. Two, Eric is, at his nature, very good at making friends. Since we're only role-playing one guy, you have to assume some variance in his approach.
Right.
I'm not saying, everybody should like him, but
right.
if everybody's not responding to him that way, he would probably just be friendly and not... you know what? It's fine.
Well, no, but see, that's exactly my point, too, is you're right. I do usually assume variance. We can't roleplay every possible variance, which is why I would usually have you make a panache roll. So anyway, we're good. We will find our footing.
I trust you, sir.
I don't.
Seven Seas is such a different system from how everything else works, but
it really is.
When we get into big sweeping events that need things done, it'll make more sense then. But the minutia of in between these big critical roles is not. It's going to be the difficult part. So.
Chad is suggesting that we do just RP everything with all the variances and never roll anything.
The longest running show of all time. Okay.
So you want to make friends with about 25 crew members on the first shift. That was Barty.
Let's go make friends with everyone. You three take this show off. We'll be back next week.
So Eric is going to spend first shift swabbing the deck and using that to maneuver around and make as much small talk in various different ways as possible.
He might not get much work done though because he's too busy gas bagging.
I'm swabbing the deck. It's not that hard a job, to be honest.
It's backbreaking, man.
It is physically very difficult. It is not mentally
complicated, right? Yeah, he can do both. There are some people on the ship who couldn't do both because they lack the social and mental fortitude.
What are you trying to say?
That some sailors are dim.
What are you trying to say?
So, does anybody else... it looks like most of you are swabbing the deck, except for Stone, who is capable of doing the rigging, but...
So wait, what makes you capable of not just swabbing the deck like a basic...
Sailing 1 means you swab the deck.
Mm-hmm. And, okay. And what, he is sailing 2, so he's capable
He is sailing 3.
Damn, dude.
And everybody else has sailing 1.
Yeah.
So everybody else is swabbing the deck, and Stone could be doing the rigging. But, given how you're role-playing your character, have you gone have you naturally fallen into the swing of it? Is this one of those things that just comes naturally to you, or because nobody is giving you the okay or the go ahead or the order? Like, how is Stone responding to?
He just gets on with it, I think. I mean, he doesn't have much of a thought in his head while he's doing it, but he just gets on with it.
Perfect. So this is what basically the people who have 3 dots in sailing are doing. Like, the crew is all experienced except for some people who might be fresh, but those who are experienced know enough to be like, I am good enough to do swabbing, I am good enough to do rope tying and anchorage and stuff, and I'm good enough to do rigging, and I'm good enough to be a helmsman or a navigator.
He might even be fixing things as well, because he's got handy as well. I mean, I know that involves, in game it involves costing a heroic point to do it, but you
start with one every single session if you wanted to. Like, you would spend a hero point fixing a critical thing, not just like maintenance.
Right. Nothing is. That's the other thing about this system is it only counts dramatic damage.
Yeah.
So nothing is dramatically broken on the ship. So it's fine for you to say, I am just role playing that I'm walking around fixing little things, because there's nothing seriously wrong, which would require a roll or a hero point, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably doing that, and he's probably helping in the rigging. If there's anything wrong up there, he's fixing it and repairing it.
All right. Prylor, what are you doing?
I would say I am swabbing the decks, scrubbing them, and I do have handy as well. So if I find anything wrong or whatever, I will attempt to fix it as well. Just little things.
All right. The only other person to ask, and also the person least likely to be okay just swabbing the deck, Ricardo, are you just swabbing the deck, or are you trying to get, like, what's the deal?
Well, here's the thing. I would say that my companions, especially, have created characters that are men of the earth. Like people who don't.
They're all willing to do hard labor.
Yeah, the hard labor type. I'm of a different.
You sure are.
Style.
But she said, hop to it.
Yeah,
and you can't do rigging. Like, you don't have the capacity.
I understand that. However, I'm also like capable of very athletical feats and stuff like that, or hiding. So maybe I am, getting a layer. Like, I suspect that what I'm doing is looking like I'm busy, but also trying to get an understanding of what's on the ship. You know what I mean? Like,
dossing. You're doing the art of dossing.
Yeah, like walking around with a bucket or something like that. It's less like backbreaking work and more like, well, in the case of this happening, I can come here and do this. Maybe I'm trying to find where the weapons are stored. Things like that. So just trying to get an idea of the ship that I can be. I'm going to be on the ship for a long time, and I'm not trying to do it as in like, well, I got to get out of here. It's nothing like that. Like, this ship is going to where I needed to go, so I'm happy to stay on it. But I got to find something I'm better at rather than breaking my back every day, because I'm not the type of person to, get on my hands and knees and brush the fucking ship. So,
but for now, the important takeaway that I'm hearing is that you aren't actually doing work. You're trying to pretend like you're doing work.
Oh, I mean, sure. But when it comes down to it, I'm not like, if I'm asked to do a task by someone, like help them pull something up or help them move a bucket from one place to another or dispose of water or get fresh water or whatever, I'm happy to do that. But at the same time, I'm not being completely independent to the point where I'm walking around finding pieces of wood that need scrubbing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm doing the busy work of trying to look busy.
Right.
Not trying to offend anyone. Not trying to appear outward lazy. I'm not taking a smoke break.
No, you're trying not to appear outwardly lazy.
Yeah.
So let me just.
Like, is there, like, someone else on this ship that, like, maybe, say, the quartermaster or something like that, or whatever, that is going around looking like they need... Like, I want to also... The other thing I'm trying to do is, make myself a name on this ship. I want Garcia to be a name that people recognize. So,
well, you're a long way off of that.
Yeah.
I think the question is here.
I mean, I can work towards stuff. It's not unheard of. But...
Yeah, this is just for a shift, buddy, and you're just supposed to be doing some manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is,
less about manual labor, and maybe trying to find an opening where I can ingratiate myself.
So I'm wondering if I want to turn this into a role, because this is a little bit more
than just I do a thing.
Well, right, because so not only are you trying to get something specific out of it, there's also a more significant consequence potentially of being like, you're not working, like, here's a couple lashes, get back to work or whatever.
Yeah.
Lash him.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I do have.
Seed.
Yeah. I do have. So you can make like a social consequence here, right? And this is probably something you can do right now. Maybe you can even offer it to everyone to say that they don't even have to like put a risk up, because the only other person that might want to do it is maybe Eric, son of Eric, because he might want to, use his panache to see if he can actually make a reliable friend / teammate. But other than that, I don't know what... Like, his risk might be, like, whatever. But, yeah, it's up to you whether you want to do that or not.
I mean, I think what you're doing specifically, it carries a risk for you, because we're brand new on the ship. If you get a reputation, because reputation, if I recall, is a thing. So if you fail, you could get a social reputation on the ship for being lazy, which could affect you the entire time you're on the ship.
It's not going to be that significant. This is going to be a simple get back to work, like slap on the wrist, and maybe also a consequence of, now the watch captain is on your ass, and keeping a closer eye on you in the future.
So in the rules, the dramatic scenes can take as long as you want. You can have a dramatic scene that goes for months, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like a
actually, my only question here is, you've kind of like, I haven't even called for the whole setup, right? But you've kind of already told me what your approach would be.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to take that and say what skill you're using, but I'm not actually sure. Well, so let's...
You would say finesse, and then you would say... Like, for example, you would be like, okay, it sounds like you're trying to sneak your way into something, so maybe finesse hide, or finesse theft, or something like that. Like, you pick a trait, and then you pick a skill, and then I make a roll using both of those. So you could have like for example, you could have a brawn / perform, right? Which is, James using his stupid muscles to perform acts on the ship to get things done quicker. It doesn't necessarily have to be like brawn always uses like intimidate or something like that. You can mix and match the skills and the traits together.
Better nature, interesting.
And then you would be using your raises along that.
Yeah, that would be,
and if you had to like change your approach, there's ways to do that, but penalties, right?
Well, that's only if things change, like, and I still don't quite understand what that means.
So you could say something like, okay, for the next week, you guys are going to just be working the ship, right? Now, the dramatic scene is that you could... This is just an example, Wreckage. So you can use this scene to get something done. You can make yourself noticeable within the ship. You can make yourself a part of the ship. That is the ultimate goal. Within that dramatic scene, Wreckage can offer things that you spend raises on to get to. Like, for example, if you wanted to make sure that the party as a whole gets noticed for their work, you could say, okay, everyone needs to spend 3 raises to get this goal going, right? And you put that as like an actual goal. What your approach would then be is up to you. However, as long as everyone spends X amount of raises to make that goal a reality, then you succeed, essentially.
I thought we had to resolve things. Like, I thought, we basically tell him what our approach is going to be. Like, for example, I'm going to make friends by having talks, sharing meals, doing the crappy work that nobody else kind of wants to do, whatever. That's going to be my approach to making friends. And he would say, okay, like you said, these are the things that you can do. They take raises. I would roll. And if during that, the situation, like, I decided, you know what, I don't want to just make friends doing this. I want to go throw that guy off the ship because he's a dick.
Nice.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the top of the hour break, 2 to 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, whatever we have to do to empty ourselves and fill ourselves.
Don't ever say it like that.
And when we come back, we're going to attempt our first
Dramatic
risk.
scene risk thing. Yeah.
And it's going to be very simple. It's just going to involve Henley. It's just going to be this exact moment of him trying to do a thing.
You can do it, Henley. You can do it.
And very minor consequences, very minor rewards, just to see if we can execute this right without anybody in the comments later telling us that we did everything wrong.
Okay. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes time, guys. Empty yourself with us.
Empty yourself, then fill yourself back up, not with the same thing.
So we're going to make a roll, I guess.
Maybe. So this is a system that is still very new to us, and it is very different from other role-playing systems. So if at home you know how to actually play this system and we do something wrong, please
don't contact us.
Heads off. Well, please contact us in some fucking way, because I want to play with this system so badly, but I've read it dozens of times and still don't think I grok it. Anyway, so we're going to attempt it here. Step 1, the GM sets the stage of a thing. And I can hear the echo again, Dave.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, dude. You either get one or the other, so you make a choice.
I'd rather have you occasionally drop out than hear my own echo.
There you go. Decision has been made. Not my fault.
All right.
And I didn't change anything since LA at Night, so,
That is so weird, because it wasn't doing it in LA at Night.
I think it's when certain people join, to be honest with you. But
certain people have the certain code and their certain... Anyway,
yep, Zoom is...
So the GM sets the stage.
Sorry.
You are on Captain Ratbeard's ship, whose name you still haven't learned.
Mm-hmm.
You are on the poop deck. It is the first light shift, and people have been told to get to work. You are attempting to appear busy while not actually committing to manual labor.
Yeah. Okay.
While also looking for a possibility to not have to do this in the future, a way to stand out or change your I'm John
basically.
Silver. Tell me your
John
approach.
Silver trying to get in and do cooking work instead, right? Because he doesn't want to break his back.
Right.
It's that sort of thing. But also,
right. So, what is your approach going to be?
Okay, so my approach is, first I want to find something that the ship is severely lacking that I'm good at. So probably eavesdropping in some way on important conversations, or maybe like potential problems that... basically, my aim is I want to find potential problems that I, as a person of player character status, can fix.
Solve.
Yes.
So it sounds like your approach, to just sum up, is appear to be doing work while eavesdropping, right?
Yep. Get myself into the situation where I can make a change. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to say and this is also difficult because the skills are odd in this system, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that this is a, pardon me, it is a wits notice roll.
I would argue finesse notice.
There's no way it's finesse. Finesse is dexterity.
Yeah, and I'm attempting to... Well, maybe panache.
This is not challenging because of how dexterous you need to be. It's challenging because you need to be convincing. So wits are lies. You are not trying to balance a tightrope or squeeze into a small space or physically hide. You are trying to eavesdrop and appear to be busy. So it is not finesse.
All right.
And I'm making it notice because I'm going to set up the consequences and opportunities.
Okay.
The consequence is that the captain of the watch notices that you're slacking off. And will likely come down on you to keep a closer eye on you, shut down your opportunity to move out. The opportunity is that you see an opening. You hear about an opening for a job below deck that doesn't involve manual labor that you're capable of. So.
Okay.
The way that this works then is that we will roll the dice and create raises. And if you only get one raise, you can get the opportunity while still getting the consequence, or buy off the consequence in order to not get it, but then you miss the opportunity. If you get two raises, then you get both things.
Okay, sure. Absolutely. So I guess with this roll, I'm basically like, I guess I'll just roll it. So let's see how we go here. Now, what can I spend hero points on? Because I have 2 due to my starting with Valiant Spirit. So I would like to take this opportunity to use a point in my favor, for example. And I want to see what exactly that I can spend them on.
Don't you need a power to?
I don't think so. I know that I have powers that you can spend hero points on, but I'm pretty sure that...
Just as a note, we get a hero point at the beginning of every session,
yes.
Correct?
So it's also worth pointing out that I am... there is... the first time you use a skill inside of a test... you get an extra dice. I'm trying to find what that's actually called, because I remember that being a thing in here.
I think that's only in action sequences.
That's why I'm
in order to encourage you to use many different things.
That's what I'm looking for. Okay.
They are encouraged every time.
I think it's called Flare. Yeah. Okay, yeah, whenever our heroes make a risk, they're encouraged to vary their tactics and give interesting, heroic, cool descriptions of their actions. Every time you use a unique skill, a skill that you have not used before in this scene, you gain 1 bonus die. So if the scene just started and you choose to attack with your sword, you get 1 bonus die. If you choose to defend yourself by jumping out of a window using athletics, 1 bonus die. If you then punch someone with brawl, you gain 1 bonus die. If you choose to defend yourself with athletics again, you do not gain the bonus die. So basically, it rewards people for using different skills. I guess the risk here is that I'm basically going out of my way to avoid doing work, to find work that I can do that allows me to not do work. The risks have already been described, but so I'm.
And I've also found the section on hero points.
Mm-hmm.
You can add a bonus D10. You can add 3 bonus D10s to another hero's roll.
I can actually do that for 4 because I have camaraderie, but yeah.
Right. So you can add a bonus D10 to this with your only hero point.
Interesting. Would it be possible to have a player character cover for me?
I don't think you guys know each other well enough that you could clandestinely set up, hey, I'm trying to do a thing.
Yeah, okay. I'll believe that. That's fine. But, like, for example, who else here isn't, like, 100% on board with scrubbing the deck forever? Like, do we have a character in this group that would be like that? I mean, obviously not so much Stone or maybe Eric, but...
I think everybody else is on board with doing their job.
I'm on board. Like, I don't imagine myself continuing to do this and possibly move my way out of it, but that's not my way of going about it. I would go a way about it by doing the grunt work first and then working my way up.
Okay, so
yeah, that's my sort of impression.
Henley, what's your hubris?
My hubris... That's, I guess, in the details section. Okay. You receive a hero point when you investigate something unusual, especially if it looks dangerous.
It's curious.
Yeah.
Whenever whenever his curiosity gets it, yeah, basically.
That's what I thought it was. Just remember, Wreckage, as the GM, you can trigger his hubris at any time. He gets a hero point for it, but you can trigger it. Just saying.
To like, but to what does that mean? Like, because the hubrises are very vague, so I can trigger it to get him to do a thing or to make things worse.
I'm a master thief, so you can just be like, okay, they're talking about a big score or something like that.
Yeah, you could say one of the risks of this thing is, okay, you're looking for an opportunity to get out of doing manual labor. You're a master thief. You just happened to find where they're storing the valuable. Maybe you get distracted and go check it out. I don't know. Not a GM. I'm just saying it's there. It's a tool in your arsenal.
And like many of the tools, which I am all very excited to learn how to use, I don't get it. I don't get it yet.
But that's why I'm telling you now, so you can use it against Henley, and we can all learn from Henley's mistakes.
I don't know how to use it yet. But anyway.
I'll go ahead and make this roll.
Why don't you make this roll?
So this is going to be using the extra dice, so I'm going to be rolling 5 dice here.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So I've got 3 things.
You got 3 raises.
3 raises. Now you can buy off my extra 2 dice if you wanted to.
I don't remember what that does, so no.
It puts it into your danger pool.
Yeah, you get a danger pool.
And so I'm not going to do anything to you guys.
However, every time that you do that, I get a hero point, basically.
Right, yeah. And
So you're going to use, I'm assuming, 1 raise to buy off the consequence and then 1 raise to succeed?
Yeah, but I would also like to spend a raise on my own, because I can do that in these scenes, to potentially find something out about the captain during the eavesdropping.
So you are creating an opportunity?
Yes, I am.
You can use an additional raise. Let's see. How does that work?
Well, I have 3 raises, so raises basically represent...
but I spell out all opportunities.
I know that, but what I'm saying is I'm using a raise right now to do something that I want to do within this scene. That's how they work. So you can put opportunities out there.
To overcome the consequences, reduce the side effects, and harm. Raise is spent to take advantage of our opportunity. Raise is spent to create a new opportunity means your hero sets the stage for another hero to benefit from her action later on. So what you can do is make it so that you can set up for the next role to have the opportunity to learn about the captain, but not yours.
Yeah, but I can also spend raises to do an action if I wanted to.
No.
As long as it's within my approach, it will only cost me 1 raise to do an action.
Which is to say, you succeed at what you set out to do.
Well, I'm using the 2 so that I don't do what you said.
Right, I know. But there's nothing under using raises that says you get to do something more. add something new to the narrative.
Actions. The GM narrates a sequence describing details, presenting challenges and circumstances. Heroes spend their raises to overcome challenges, accomplish goals, or take action to change their circumstances. There is no strict sequence of events or actions in dramatic sequence. Things are much more fluid and malleable than procedural and direct action sequences. Players spend raises to take actions, take advantage of opportunities, and avoid consequences. Example, a powerful noble invites a hero to a party. It's a good thing because the heroes are trying to figure out which of the city's nobles is hiring thugs to abscond with docks of cargo. Seems like the party will have a great opportunity to find out what the noble is. When the heroes arrive at the party, the GM says, "This is a dramatic scene. Everyone announce your approach." Right? Everyone does that. The GM tells the lady that wants to do flirting, that sounds like penance plus tempt, blah, 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 and she rolls 5 raises. Later in the party, Mary's hero meets a powerful noble that happens to control the guards down at the dock. She spends some time talking to him. At the end of the conversation, she spends a raise to say, "I want to show off and impress me. He wants to show off and impress me with a secret." The GM accepts the raise and says, he says that he's done that and he's come down with a great deal of money on the dock. So basically, I can spend a raise to tempt you into doing something in the scene. If I want something out of the scene, I can say I spend my raise, my additional raise that I have after buying out your opportunities and your consequences to do something that benefits myself in this scene.
That it doesn't say that on the list of ways that you can spend a raise. So I don't know how to quantify that.
I literally just read that.
Talking about down in the example of dramatic.
I know the example, but on the use raises section, there is a list of things you can do, and it doesn't list that.
Yeah, what page is that on? Because I read the book, so it's like
page 173. Using raises, you can ensure that you set out what to do what you set out to do. You can spend to overcome consequences, take advantage of opportunities.
The little bit in the dramatic sequence portion says, more than a series of challenges, dramatic sequences are all about heroes exploring environments, using raises to get what they want from tense situations. The hero might be opposed by villains or other heroes, but dramatic sequences are open sandboxes and not just a series of challenges set up by the GM. The GM isn't supposed to give the players a list of problems to overcome. That's the kind of thing that happens in action sequences. So I think this system, and feel free to disagree, but it seems like action sequences, you apparently, like you script out an action sequence, and then we have to try to get through it with what we've got. Dramatic sequences are more of a give and take, where you decide, they decide how they're going to start it, they roll, and then they use their raises to overcome the consequences of the action, and then if they have more, they can try to get a bit more if you agree. Like, if he says, I want to use my raise to try to find out something more about the captain, you could say, you can't find something out about the captain here with what you're doing. And here's to keep that raise.
Here's where we're all confused. This was not a dramatic sequence. It was a risk. There is a risk, an action sequence, and a dramatic sequence.
Okay.
They're all different things. This is not a dramatic sequence. It was a risk.
Man, I'm learning so much.
Okay.
That's why there was a whole bunch of confusion. So the risk is resolved, and you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you sort of move about on the deck and are eavesdropping and avoiding the ire of the captain of the watch.
So I'm more of a, as mentioned before, my approach is to eavesdrop, but it's not also hiding, right? So there's no hiding involved. It's mostly like, I've perfected the art of like, as a master thief, right? Of like scoping out a place before I take it on, right? And a lot of that's involved with walking into a place, appearing like you're supposed to be there and getting a lay of the land before I go in and take things down. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. I walk into a place, maybe like, you know, I know where I'm supposed to go. Or like when someone comes out of a room, maybe I turn my back to them and pretend like I'm repairing something on the wall or whatever. and I make my way slowly to the inner deck, maybe even to the captain's crew, the captain's room. I don't know. Like if it's upstairs, then I probably make my way to the front of the ship and maybe like eavesdrop by opening a little window to the captain's room or something like that. Like,
so as explained from before, you're not going to get to learn anything about the captain because this is not a dramatic sequence.
Fine.
So you are going to learn exactly what what you set out to do in the first place, which is a new job, something that isn't manual labor. But
yeah, it's mostly just like I get into a space until I hear something that's worthwhile me sticking around, and then I pretend to be within that scene, and maybe even potentially like put myself in a position to be able to take that job.
Right. So, you're going to spend the whole first, the whole morning watch sort of shift doing this clandestinely, like moving throughout the ship slowly and without drawing too much attention.
Sure.
And as a result, you're going to learn of 3 possible jobs that you believe that you could maneuver yourself into actually to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll leave it to you to decide which one you or how you want to go about this. The first thing that you hear is that the current cook is terrible at his job.
Okay. I'm
and it
literally
wouldn't take much
Silver.
convincing from anybody to supplant him. So you could do the cooking, which is still a lot of work because you have to cook 3 squares for the whole crew, every day.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps there's also room to have like a lesser job there by like just working with him or something to try and make the food better. Maybe that's something to convince him of. The other opportunity that you hear about is that they apparently they set out with something about the job, like the job that the Captain Ratbeard is attempting to accomplish on this journey, required a record keeper who has fallen ill like immediately, first day out to sea, like this landlubber. And that would probably take just sort of, there are people who are attending to him, right? Ship's doctor, that type of thing. You don't have any of those skills, but you could like show up and be like, I'm literate or something. That is a possible job that you could do that isn't hard manual labor. And the third and final job that you could do that isn't hard manual labor is the quartermaster likes to have a and for lack of a better word, an errand boy.
Okay, like an assistant, I guess. Not an assistant, right, but someone that does the things that he doesn't want to do.
Well, it's going to be like from the way that you hear it, he likes to have somebody who does the stuff that he doesn't want to do exactly, which is like polishing pistols or something, or right, like the menial parts of quartermastering.
Okay.
He likes to have somebody do the menial stuff, which wouldn't be hard labor. But, like, as far as trying to find another job, they're all going to be jobs. Yeah. And all 3 of these aren't hard, sweaty manual labor. They're
Okay.
just, full days works.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I value the power of information. I think I'm gonna take the one for the keeping the second one.
Record keeping.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see what that looks like later, because this is going to take you the whole day to just learn about these 3 jobs, and it'll probably take you a couple of days to maneuver into any sort of position to actually take the job.
Would it be possible for him to use that extra raise to create an opportunity for one of us to take advantage of? Specifically, the guy on the crew who, he saw do miracle doctor things.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
If that is something that, one thing you can do in a risk is create an opportunity for somebody else. Which I'm not sure exactly how it looks like. It doesn't spell it out. The way I take that to mean is that you spend that extra raise and say, there's I know that there's an opportunity for Eric to maybe help with doctoring because we have a sick person on board.
Or Stone go become the quartermaster's assistant. Or
I'm not going to do the doctor one because that'll take away my opportunity to put myself in a better position. But the quartermaster, it wouldn't. But I mean, if he gets better, then the actual record keeper would come back and take his job back, right?
No, well, because Eric isn't going to just. What Eric is saying, make an opportunity for him to move into the medical staff of the ship. That doesn't mean.
Right, I get you.
The guy gets better and you lose your opportunity as a result.
Yeah, sure.
But I can understand his character's thought of that, to be entirely honest. Bring a guy back from almost death, and if he wants to take that dude's job, he would not be incentivized to help me out.
You know what I will do? I will go up to you, maybe in the afternoon, late afternoon when the shift's finishing or something like that. And I'll be like, son of Eric, I have something for you might be interested in.
Garcia, yes. What's going on, my friend?
Come, make busy work. I will talk, you listen, yes?
Well, the decks won't clean themselves, Garcia.
So there is
I walk after you, but I'm cleaning the decks as I go.
Yeah, there is a man on this ship. His name is not really that important. I have an opportunity to, I guess, better yourself and I. The standing, at least, we have on this ship, from a lowly deck scrubber to people of somewhat import. Are you interested in this?
Well, I mean, kind of okay scrubbing the deck.
We're going to be spending a very long time on this ship, and I'm not interested so much in back-breaking labor, as it were. And your hands, as far as I remember your stories, are better served in other ways.
Well, my wife would disagree. She'd say I could use the work, lose some of the girth.
I am not interested.
Well, what do you have in mind?
I'm not interested in learning more about your girth. Well, there is a man on this ship. Now, he has come, unfortunately, down with the wobblies, as they said.
The wobblies?
Yes, something to do with being off land. I'm not sure.
He's seasick.
Probably a lot more than that. Probably he ate something he wasn't supposed to, and he can't stand the ocean. It's not important. Basically, though, there is a distinct lack of skilled individuals within the medical staff on this ship. Now, I need your word as a man who carries a crest. If I give you this opportunity, you will not squander my own. This man who has become ill, he needs to remain so that I can take his position as record keeper on this ship. You, on the other hand, you could find a better place for yourself within the medical staff.
Well, I mean, if Dr. Garcia, if I can help him, I will. But
no, I need you to keep him inebriated to the point that he cannot do his work. You can save the man's life. I don't give a shit about that one way or the other. I just need him to not be competent any longer.
Okay.
Then I have your word. I put my hand out.
Agreed. Heartily shake his hand.
Very good. The man you are after, he goes by the name of Swanson. I believe he is the person you need to talk to about ingratiating yourself within the medical company. The sick man,
Wonderful.
However, his name is Pee-Pee, or Pete, or Pie, something along those lines. It was a terrible name. I will make my way onto this ship, and I will do what's best for Ricardo. But you, on the other hand, I hope you find your way as well. It would be nice to know that there is competent medical staff after I take a bullet or two, you know?
Well, yeah. As long as we eventually find that ship, it's fine by me.
Then I'll go back to, doing what I do, whatever that is today. Alright, cool. So I guess you would need to, at some point, spend a risk to take advantage of the opportunity created to go out and join the medical
Right.
stuff.
So, yeah, pursuing that would become some kind of risk, and one of the opportunities would guarantee be, if I am to understand it, basically, as long as it's vaguely relevant, the very next time Eric does a risk, the opportunity
there would be
will be one of the opportunities, if not more.
Yeah. Excellent.
Man, I am not sure we did that right.
No, that sounds about right. I wasn't aware that you could just do a risk by itself. That is something that I learned from you and me talking about this. So,
well, that's what it looks like to me.
No,
but
you're right.
The book sure doesn't make it clear.
Yeah, from what I understood, there was only action sequences and dramatic sequences. I wasn't aware that you could just have a risk, just a single risk.
Well, that's what it opens with. It says risk, then it goes to action sequence, then it does dramatic sequence.
Yeah,
and it clearly delineates a difference. It's not that action sequences and dramatic sequences are just the two types of risk.
See, I read that as I'm going to explain what this risk stuff is, and then I'm going to give you the two scenarios in which you can use risks. See, that's how I read it.
It uses the phrase unlike a risk.
Yeah,
an action sequence is a longer thing, and then it talks about dramatic. So it's
okay, I mean, there are some lost minutiae in there, but I understand now. It's fine.
Yeah, it is.
So that's how you make
this PDF.
That's how you make the in between roles, I guess. So
maybe. Anyway,
the important thing is we're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm having a headache. So that's the day shift. I'm not up on my piratical history, and I'm certainly not up on how most pirate ships delineated their shifts. If they even had them, actually, is something I'm not certain about. But we have the benefit of having created this setting. So I'm going to say that it's typical for any vessel to have about a 3-shift rotation.
Every 6-7 hours or something?
In order to fill 3 shifts into 24 hours, they would be
8
or 8 hours long. So, with breaks. I mean, well, with lunch and dinner.
Well, I assume that within a shift there are like break rotations as well, right? Like that makes sense.
So you'll basically do the first 8 hours of the day. And it'll be the afternoon when your shift is essentially allowed to have some leisure time, some downtime. So it's early afternoon. You guys have all done a hard day's work except for Ricardo, who mostly wandered around pretending to work, eavesdropping on people.
I did what I do best.
The second shift goes up, and that tall woman who was leading your watch also goes on leisure time, and another man comes out, and he's the captain of that watch. And he does the roll call for them, and you can hear their names, and some of them aren't contracted. And it seems like a non-zero number. There are more people in this shift who didn't sign the contract because those people had hangovers and didn't make the first shift.
Got it.
You guys also find out sort of as people move into like leisure time that the bunks are separated by shift.
Interesting. So they just share the same bunks when their shifts.
Well, it's not like there is the part of the ship where all the bunks are.
Yeah.
But the bunks themselves are yet further separated into like first shift, second shift, third shift in general.
So we have our own like little space, essentially.
Well, the space that you share with the 20 other people who are on the day shift. And there are bunks going spare.
I see.
There's also there is a hodgepodge between hammocks that are tied in between posts, and where there aren't posts, there are actual bunk beds, and people who have preferences have gone for their preferences. Obviously, there's a large number of sailors who are used to or prefer greatly to sleep in a hammock. But they have a little bit less like personal item storage space because the bunks actually have
like cupboards or whatever. Yeah.
Well, they have boxes at the end. I won't go so far as to say chests, but they have and people's there. A lot of people seem to have brought their shit with them, unlike you guys who are shipwrecked, magicked upon,
and clothes on our back. Basically.
Right? Yeah, clothes on your back.
Do we not go to the mess and get food?
You can.
I'm going to get food because I haven't eaten since last night.
That's what I was going to ask. I'm going to do the same.
Yeah.
All right. Ricardo, are you going to go eat with everybody else, or are you not going to go eat?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not incapable. I mean, I've done my sleuthing for the day, right? I mean, all
right, sure.
I've worked towards getting myself.
Just in case you wanted to do something else, or you wanted to claim a good bunk or something, if that was more important to you than getting
that's an interesting prospect. You do bring up a good point. Perhaps I will take the opportunity to claim a decent bunk for myself.
All right, so you'll miss out on being at the front of the line for mess, but in exchange you'll get the best of whatever's left.
Sure.
For the bunks.
There's always opportunities to trade later on. So.
Sure.
But so you said, all right, I would probably go for something that would allow me to.
We're not going to go into it.
Sure, but whatever. Personal space.
Stone, Eric, and Bjorn. Food's terrible. It's it's exactly what you would expect in a movie, which is like a slop that is a stew also. Like, it's assorted stew. None of the whatever the veggies are in it are cooked correctly. They're either completely mush or way too hard. The actual stew, rather than being like a beefy base or some savory thing that carries it, is just it's more like eating like a snot with grit in it. It just doesn't have any flavor, just terrible textures.
I like the crunchy bits.
And like you're given a hunk of bread with your stew, and you're given a what's it called?
It's the bread bed too, stale and nasty.
Probably a cup of grog.
Right, a cup of
generally rum or grog was considered payment for the day.
Whenever I drink, I turn away from Eric and drink, and then go back just to not offend him.
Like I have the cup in front of me, and I look at Stone and I go, thanks for the thought, Stone. It's quite all right.
Eric
still does it.
Do you mind? You're not going to drink it.
By all means.
All right. Grab his mug from him.
All right. Extra beer.
I'll slap his hand. No.
Basically, people are drinking out of what Prylor is drinking out of. But I forget what it's called when you have an actual...
It's a horn.
It's a horn.
Well, not a horn, but like a fancy...
Yeah.
Tankard?
Yeah, like a tankard. Everybody has tankards of rum and grog and stuff in the mess hall.
Let me know when I can join Wreckage, being late and all that.
They're going to be well through eating the... Yes, thank you, Eugene. Yes.
Even wooden ones as well. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be wooden. Nothing is going to be... Nothing fancy for the mess hall.
Yeah.
I'll literally clean my plate.
All right. You're going to clean your plate. It really is...
Yummy.
No.
Yummy. I like it.
It's really not good. It's like it's not just like this is not pleasant.
I like the mashed potato with the crunchy bits.
I'm not sure that's potato, Stone.
It's actively moving in the opposite direction of good as far as food is concerned.
Perhaps I should have taken the chef opportunity.
Weren't you a cook or something? Where you came from?
I was a farmer.
I knew you cooked some food at the beach, so. And it wasn't that great, but it was better than this shit.
I can check. So I go to where the cook is.
I'll watch.
Right.
Good afternoon.
There's a line that's still filtering and giving food, and the cook is serving. And he's like, "What do you want? No seconds.
Need any help?"
No.
I was just curious as to what was in this stew.
Everything a growing boy needs.
I'm guessing cabbage?
I'm imagining the slop from Matrix now.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's tasty. Right when he was describing it, I was about to say that, but that's hilarious.
It's tasty wheat, but brown, as opposed to like that, like
delicious tasty wheat.
And if you leave it long enough, like the liquid separates from everything else by itself.
That's hilarious.
And the guy says, "What's cabbage?"
It's a vegetable.
What, like taters? It's got taters in it.
Awesome. Stone, you were correct. It did have potato in it.
See, I knew.
Those were the crunchy bits, right?
Stone, by the way, passes on his compliments to the chef.
I'll turn to oh god, names. I'll turn to Bjorn and go, "I once threw up in my mouth and it tasted a bit like this."
Well, you're welcome, son. You know, I have this distinct feeling that you's here making a mockery of me.
Stone?
No,
I'm
you.
not sure Stone knows what mockery is.
What does that mean?
You standing here and talking about cabbages and me needing help.
I like cabbages.
You look very busy. You're obviously an important man on the ship. I just wanted to see if I could proctor any assistance.
What?
What?
Could I help you? You look like you could use a break.
Food's made. This is the easy part.
And thus you've already done the hard work. Let somebody else help.
So yous want to yous want to give me a break and serve portions to peoples.
Just trying to help.
Why would I get in the way of somebody, doing my job for me a little bit? Why not? I'll put a seat up. Everybody gets a bowl and a stein and a hunk of bread.
Wonderful.
Your nose in
And I go ahead and I give him a bowl first and a lump of bread and a stein.
No, I ate the good stuff, not this trash.
So,
that's what I'm hoping to hear.
Ricardo, just as you get to the front of the line, Eric is turning around, tying a kiss the chef type apron on around his thing to serve gruel to people.
Yeah, I turned to him and was like, "Why, hello, friend. It's good to see you. I've found yourself."
Hello, Garcia. Wonderful to see you.
Mm-hmm. I take it and it's like a very inspiring food.
I think Stone's wise enough not to piss his cook off on a ship.
Yeah.
So I give Garcia his hunk of bread and his stein.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a chair next to Stone, I guess, and I'm just like.
I indicate to Ricardo, with a head nod, where the cook went off to.
Okay.
You have that individual to thank for the food.
Thank you very much. I will make sure that my compliments are well received.
It's the crunchy bits. They're the best bits.
That's the potatoes. The crunchy potatoes.
Yeah. So I will eat.
From down the table is I'm not sure the crunchy bits are the potatoes.
All right, Ringo Starr. So, how was everyone's first day? Did you find anything humorous about your companions that maybe you'd like to share in jest?
Yeah, Fred on the riggings. He's colorblind.
Like he cannot see all colors, like a dog?
I don't think dogs are color.
Dogs can't see colors, Stone.
No, I don't think a dog is a color though, because they're like different colors.
I'm gonna turn to Bjorn. I'm just like, well, what about you? Did you hear anything interesting on your ship turn?
I'll bang on about dogs for however long.
Yeah. Honestly, I just kept to myself. Kind of scrub the decks, keep my head down. Where have you been all day?
Making myself useful.
Useful? I didn't see you scrub one damn thing.
There's many uses on the ship other than just making sure the wood gets thinner every day.
And by the way, what should I be calling you right now?
Garcia will do for now.
Okay.
You must understand. I lean in so that Stone can hear as well. It's like, my actual name, it carries certain things with it. I'd rather not expose.
What sort of things? I've never.
Rumors mostly, my friend. Rumors. Rumors.
Maybe from where you're from, but I've never heard of you before in my life.
Yes, you also don't seem to be the type to run around in the underground circles.
Brothels and.
No, you look like a man who does fuck whores, actually. But I'm talking mostly about.
What's wrong with that, buddy?
Is it the one-legged dude?
No, it's some other guy. Just some guy sloshed. He's got like 3 steins in front of him instead of just the one, and he's like, "What's wrong with fucking some lovely ladies who's get an honest living, feed their family?"
Oh no, there is nothing wrong with picking a career path that involves seducing men. In fact, I've met many a woman who does that professionally.
You, my buddy here, and he gestures wildly to Bjorn. My buddy here just likes ladies, okay? And you made it sound like that's a problem.
No. You do not have the full context of our conversation.
What does
that mean?
Don't you use your $5 words on me.
Hey, buddy. Give him a big pat on the back. Where'd you get all those steins?
Oh, look, if I want to trade some things for some extra to have a nice time on break, I could hook you up with some of the lightweights around here who don't want none.
Since we're buddies and all, why don't you hook me up with another one?
Well, okay, but you need something to offer. You need to, a coin, a bauble, a share.
So I slide my alcohol over to the drunk man wreckage.
Okay.
And I'm just like, you said there are some who prefer to not tally hole every night?
Yeah, well, everybody's different, their proclivities.
Perhaps you can introduce me to such people. Maybe they're more inclined to have a conversation rather than drink away the night.
Well, wait, do you want to meet some of these other lightweights, lightweight?
Yes, whatever description you wish to give those who remove themselves from alcoholic beverages, I would like to meet them. In exchange, I offer you my tankard.
This is the cheapest tankard I've ever met. Look, yeah, all right, sure. There's that guy over there with the red beard, and that guy who smells like shit, and that guy is just pointing. And he points like he's got 6 mugs. Well, he's now got 7 mugs. He points out like 6 people that he traded their beer for.
Any of them have any sort of air to them that isn't, yo, I'm a pirate here for swashbuckling and that's it?
That's
I'm asking you, the GM, not the drunk.
Okay.
What?
We're all here for swashbuckling.
Like when it comes down to
they all look like salty dogs who are sailors and pirates, and nobody looks fancy or special.
I look a little disappointed at this, and I turn to the man. I'm just like, well, enjoy my tankard all the same.
He's gone.
Yeah, and so then I turn back to Bjorn and Samuel, and I'm just like, yes, as I was saying, my name carries connotations with it, so I would prefer if you would call me Garcia for now. It is a name that...
Is that for when we're only on the ship, or...?
Yeah.
Goatsy.
Yes, you can call me that. It doesn't fucking matter,
So,
actually.
why when you introduced yourself to us, did you use your real name?
I'm confused.
Well, I was of the opinion that we were dead men. So now you carry my burden with you.
Carry your burden.
Yes, it is hard to get work done when people know that you will take from them.
I'm not going to carry your burden. I'll call you a different name.
That's what I mean. By burden, I mean my secret. Yes.
We could call you one more.
I do not understand your mental faculties right now, Stone. Perhaps you could go over it a little more. What do you mean, one more?
One more name.
Just stick with Garcia. It's easier.
Goatee.
Garcia.
Goat tea?
No, don't you humor him, please.
So then I asked the guy who's on first, and he said, "Yeah," and what's on second. Anyway,
baseball back then.
Eric.
Yes.
Some guy has come from the mess, and he pushes the front of the line back to step in front of you, and says, "I ain't eating this shit."
That's your choice, friend.
No, you don't understand. I get 3 squares a day on this ship. It's part of my contract. This isn't food. This isn't a square. It's a triangle at best.
I only see 3 corners. I need 4.
Well, as the cook just said, it's everything a growing boy needs.
Like, in that moment, you look back to the cook to, like, have him defend, or perhaps because he's sitting right there, and you look back, and he is unconscious and snoring.
With him unconscious, I look around. Are there, like, any, like, food things around me?
Well, it's a kitchen, right? It's
slippery slope. Don't give to him, because then everyone will want one.
I'm just curious as to what's there. I'm using this man as an excuse.
So it would be a little awkward to check full extent, because this is the kitchen where he made the food, and so there are the leavings of him making the food, but the stores.
Cool.
I don't fucking know,
I think it's
James.
I think it's called the galley for nautical purposes. But hey,
I've heard mess for people who are on ships. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, maybe there's this particular distinction between a galley and a mess.
well, the
One
galley's
is
the
military
kitchen,
and one
Is this a
not.
USS
Yeah.
vessel? Or the Queen?
Does it really fucking matter?
HMS. Look, okay, you're
Breaking
in a
my immersion.
food hole.
Broken my immersion.
You're in the
Okay.
recess. You're in.
You know what?
recess.
We made this setting, so now I'm going to say in this world, kitchens and mess halls and galleys are called the food chute. So we're in the food chute.
Look what you've done.
You've ruined it, James. You've ruined it.
So we're in the food chute, and it's a little awkward because in the kitchen, which is also like where the serving happens and looks out into the food chute, there isn't the full stores. The stores are they're not across the food chute. They're just to like the but they are like you'd have to leave the kitchen and noticeably walk across to another wall where a door is where the storeroom is.
Yeah.
So to look
where
at
they
the full
shoot the
complement
food
of
out
food, to look at the full complement of supplies, you wouldn't like you but you can't have a look around and see, you know, there are potato peels.
Yeah.
Like left
I
around.
just try to figure out what's actually in the food we're eating.
Sure.
And if at some point it could be made, like, are the stores on the ship possible to be made into food, or is this just like the best one could do because they has subpar starting?
You can see, even just in the kitchen, that, you know, maybe it's not the full story, but certainly the chef is terrible. Okay. The remnants of his cooking show you that he did at least everything that you can see evidence for incorrectly. Okay. The potato peels that are left are peeled
like a lot of
incorrectly.
Potato left on him.
Like, not only a lot of potato left on him, but rather than like cutting out the eyes were left on, and he cut around them, and like, you know,
put them in specifically.
Right, like the
crunchy pieces.
Right.
There's still a whole peeled potato on the counter, and the peels went into the pot.
Yeah, like you can just see. I'm not a very good chef myself, but as a country chef who knows the basics of preparing various vegetables and even meats, like you can see there's apparently meat in this stew somewhere because there's a bone, but like the meat has been cut off the bone incorrectly, and all the best parts are left on, and all the worst parts probably went in.
Gotcha.
And like maybe it wasn't.
Unless he's a really clever chef and he's saving the best for himself.
I mean, he just ate a bowl of shit, so maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, he ate it. He passed out. So back to the angry individual. Well, friend, I understand, and like you, I also like my meals edible, but it is what we have. Privateers don't get to really choose their meals sometimes.
Well, look, I think I speak for everyone when I say that 3 square meals were in the contract.
I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder.
Yeah, I've totally stood up with Stone as well, trying to help diffuse the situation.
I put my feet on the table and watch the situation.
What do you want, Tiny?
I'll just laugh. And I'll sort of puff my chest out a bit more and go, I think you should be a bit more polite to the server.
Look here, Tiny. I haven't said anything to him that ain't polite.
I point at the rest of the people in the mess, or whatever you want to call it.
The poop shoot. Oh, sorry, the food shoot.
Food shoot.
I'll go. They might not like the meal, but they're making a scene like you. You're embarrassing yourself.
I ain't embarrassing nobody.
I'm embarrassed for you.
It's my right. It's my right, and it's all of our rights to have a square meal. And I thought I was awfully clever when I called it a triangle earlier, and I want to say that again.
You got a meal there. It may not be up to your taste, but unfortunately, that's all you've got. So you can either have that or go hungry.
Now other people are standing up and like, no, I agree with him. You take your hand off him. This food's unacceptable.
Well, then go hungry then.
We have a right to have edible, decent food.
But then get a new chef. He's not the chef. There's the chef or the cook or whatever you want to call it. Right there.
Why isn't the chef serving the food?
Because he's crap.
Stone, let's not be rude. The chef worked very hard to make this. I'm just trying to help out. Now, listen. You have gripes about the food. I can understand. As my first meal aboard this vessel, I was perhaps hoping for more. But we're all going to be on this ship together for what I foresee to be a long time. Let's not start the first meal off with such a problematic approach. Because here's what happens. You yell at me, I can't do anything about it. You wake up the cook, you yell at him, he yells back at you. Eventually the watch captain comes down and yells at all of us and busts down our rations of rum. I don't know about you, I like my ration of rum.
The way I saw it, you gave it to your friend.
He's my friend. He needed it more than I did.
Well, I need a decent meal. Now, I know you're not responsible for that, but I think we's all in agreement here, and we have a legitimate complaint, and if the watch captain wants to come down here and suss it out, then I think we have a fair shake at it. Right, boys?
So as a
privateer who signed the contract, you have every right to call for a vote.
So
I'll leave that for you to take up to the watch captain.
I'm gonna raise my voice at this point, and I'm just like, well, can any of you actually cook enough for an entire ship? Does any of them here know how to put a stew together? Anything like that? Any of you at all? Perhaps your mother's taught you how to make something of your family's history. Maybe something at all. Anything. Don't be shy now. Raise your hand. It can't be worse than what we're eating.
Well, it's like I can make food.
But can you make enough food for everyone?
I can't make 60 rations of food. That's a different skill set.
Well, there you go. Perhaps Quandary needs to actually find a particular chef before we start, throwing people overboard or swapping jobs or calling people naysayers for not putting together stews.
The man has a point.
Somebody else speaks up and says, well, we're only with the one shift. So maybe there is somebody else who can take the job. Maybe we should raise it as a point.
Instead of first making a stink, why don't we talk to our fellow companions on this ship and find someone more appropriate? Because if it's not us, then everyone will have problem with food. And it looks better to the captain and to the people who run our shifts that we come to them with a solution rather than a problem.
So you give this eloquent, well thought out, speech.
Because I already know about the problems ahead of time, right? So this is kind of like one of those things.
So there's like you look out at a sea of blank faces.
Well, why don't I take it to
There's a moment of silence after you've spoken your piece. And then the first thing to break the silence is, "Now that don't sound right." And then somebody else says, yeah. Everyone's like, yeah.
How many people are in the food chute right now?
Maybe about, not including you, 15.
Stone, come watch this.
Okay.
Garcia, Bjorn, if you could keep them.
So Eric, I don't know what you're attempting to do here, but in the aftermath of Ricardo's speech, like, they have doubled down and they're like now a mob and they're now going to go up and talk to the captain of the watch. So if you want to intervene in that and prevent that.
I want to calm them down.
Sure.
Get them sitting back down.
Sure.
Because having a mob go approach the captain on the first day seems like a real goddamn bad plan.
How exactly...
and not exactly something Eric, son of Eric, wants to be part of.
How exactly did I get to the point where telling them that there's a better approach for them to actually just flub off?
They're dumb pirates, man.
Because you made a really eloquent...
Dumb pirates that are probably drunk.
You made a very eloquent point that required a great deal of wit and like social grace, and their response was, "Nah, it doesn't sound right to me." And so
it's lost on them.
Yeah,
every day the ship gets a new chef, and every day the chef changes.
You didn't play to their strengths, so to speak. Eric, you want to try and stop this. Now, I also heard the word, I don't want to get wrapped up in this. And it is totally possible for you guys to not be wrapped up in this. If you don't go with the mob that's making the complaint, you will not be, like, no one will hold you responsible.
Well, we're a part of the shift, and I imagine the shift might
I'll sort of like whisper, well, not whisper, but as low as voice, I'll be like to Eric, I'll be like, can't you, I mean, you cooked me on the beach, I mean.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, Stone. All right, everyone, listen. Sit down for just a moment. I'll wake up the cook. I'll see if there's not something we can do for today.
Has all this ruckus not woken him up?
He is apparently very tired from making this meal.
I'm gonna actually go up to Eric, and I'm just like, Eric, I tried to talk to your fellow men, but I'm gonna clap him on the shoulder. I don't want to say stupid because could you potentially say to them that maybe we can, I don't mind doing this. I don't mind finding someone who's a suitable chef, but maybe just talk to them into not making it seem like that we're unsatisfied on day one.
Yeah, so I clasp him on the shoulder and I go, I know you tried, Garcia. You just used too many big words. Gentlemen, Sit.
I said I didn't want to say stupid. What?
It's okay. You're not talking their language, Garcia. Sit, gentlemen. Drink your rum. The cook and I will see if we can't improve the food for you, gentlemen, as you've worked so very hard today. How about a song while we wait? And I look at Stone and Bjorn to start leading a sea shanty whilst I go wake up the cook.
Row, yeah.
Now, James, I honestly think that you probably know the most.
You would know sea shanties, Stone.
Oh.
Yeah, look one up.
Oh, fuck, I don't know any sea shanties.
What would you do with a drunken sailor? What would you do with a drunken
I don't know any.
sailor?
I only know, and I don't even think it's
early in the morning.
I don't think Stone's a particularly good singer anyway.
It doesn't matter. That's the great thing about sea shanties.
Like Blow the Man Down, or
like the ones you've seen on YouTube are done by sea shanty choirs, and they only get good singers. But the real sea shanties were just like,
pirates weren't good singers, generally speaking.
The thing about sea shanties is if you get enough people singing, it doesn't matter if they have any talent because
it's like how Happy Birthday always sounds okay in a group. By the way, Prylor, you're in on this too, buddy. So don't leave Stone hanging.
I know I don't know any sea shanties at all.
Well, he's gonna look one up, and you're both gonna look it up and sing it in effort. While you're doing that, let's play out the me waking up the cook and dragging him into the kitchen.
Look, okay, look, I've linked a sea shanty's lyrics. That we also should all know the rhythm to because it's a famous one.
Blow the Man Down.
Yeah.
All right, do it, fellas. Do it for the role play. Come on.
Oh my god, I'm not singing at 3 a.m.
Why not?
Okay. Hold on a second.
Why not?
Because I might make someone's ears bleed. Can we not go for a break and then?
Come all ye young fellows that follows the sea. To me, way hey, blow the man down. Now please pay attention. Okay, no, Eugene. I'm call your response.
Oh, okay.
So I'll sing the lines that right. So
wait. Why are we doing this? This is Stone and Bjorn.
Right, they're not willing to do it. They're not willing.
All right, let's go.
No, I'll do it. No, I'll do it.
All right, so fine. I'll call. Anybody else can respond. So it's just every other line that's call and response. I'm pretty sure. Come all ye young fellows that follows the sea.
To me, way, hey, blow the man down.
Now please pay attention and listen to me.
Give me some time to blow the man down.
I'm a deep water sailor, just come from Hong Kong.
You give me some whiskey, I'll sing you a song.
When a trim black ball liner's preparing for sea.
Split your sides laughing, such sights you would see. By the way, the first part goes after each one of these things.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Good stuff, fellas. Good stuff.
It's good enough. So the crew is now singing, I'm assuming. I want the crew to be singing Stone and Bjorn leading the charge.
Yeah, a lot of them are drunk, and even if they're grievances, or at least tipsy, and even if they're grievances, even if they're not willing to solve the problem the way that both you and Ricardo have suggested, they are definitely willing to stop and sing. So now we're all singing.
Work every single time. I mean,
right.
Yeah, they've forgotten about how bad the food is because they're drunk.
Well, they haven't forgotten. They're just... They've been promised that while they're singing, you're going to look into it.
All right, I'm gonna assist in dragging an unconscious, probably slightly rotund man into the kitchen.
Well, he's in the kitchen.
Okay.
He fell asleep right there.
Okay, so I don't actually care about waking him up, to be entirely honest. If he is still unconscious by the time we get into the galley where nobody can see him, what I'm going to try to do is start putting together a stew that doesn't taste like complete ass.
I'll be in the kitchen as well. I'm just like, I don't understand. There is like several spices the man could have used in the food.
Well, Garcia, obviously the man is not very good at his job. So like I put together a rural dish. It's nothing fancy, but it is like with what we have. I just try to put together like a big, essentially.
The problem is it takes hours, doesn't it, to cook, especially for like.
And also, you're also
You might
breaking
have to just-
probably a law that's unwritten in the contract about giving people extra rations per day.
Well, so
you might have to work with what you've got and just improve it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
Actually,
Okay.
add spices.
Let me change it. I'm going to take the big pot of food and try to
Season
make it better, improve upon it in some form.
We invent Tabasco by letting things rot.
So rather than go straight to whether or not this succeeds or fails, I want to get a better sense of the actual goal here, because this almost sounds more like an approach to a goal rather than the goal itself.
So Eric's goal has remained the same. He's doing two things. He's doing jobs that, one, stop him from sitting at the table thinking about drinking stuff, because that's kind of torture at the moment. Additionally, he's trying to become friends with the crew. And so he's staying busy so that he's not thinking about how thirsty he is. And if he can make the food better, it's a way to ingratiate himself with the crew. And stopping them from essentially storming up and almost mutinying on the first day means that all of the people he talked to will stay people he talked to, and not people who are now, getting lashed for complaining about the cook, who has been on the ship, obviously, longer than them.
Now, that's not necessarily true.
Well, he's the cook, and they swab the deck, so...
That's true. Everybody in this ship, there is swabbers and riggers and
everybody has a job.
There are master sailors in this group of people who have a problem. So here's,
Eric's goal is to make friends with the people who are currently here, without making the chef look bad. Like, I'm not trying to make him look bad by making the food better. That's why I took him with me.
So let me ask a couple more questions to really get to the heart of this, because I'm still a little uncertain. Well, I think I know what you're saying, but I want to clarify.
Righto.
Is the most important thing about making this new meal that you are keeping yourself busy, that you are making friends, or that you are preventing them from going up and bringing their grievances as an actual complaint?
The most important thing is, in order, making friends, keeping myself busy, preventing the grievance.
Got it. That's what I needed to know. Because in that case, you will succeed in taking the pot of gruel, and by the end of the song, very simply, just by doing a couple of things right and stirring in some stuff,
some actual ingredients that
like
salt, on the table.
letting some gristle sizzle and just getting some flavor in there and stirring it up, it's not like you're still starting from crap, so it's not going to be an amazing meal that you've made now, but you have improved it. And when the song finishes, you can serve that, especially to maybe the guy who was leading the complaint, and be like, try this, see if it's better, or whatever you would say. What would you say?
The chef heard you. He understood your complaints. We worked together. Here you go. Try some of this.
So you will give him another serving of food.
I will give him a half serving equal to what he ate.
Right. Clever. I'm sure that will get you out of trouble should there be trouble.
It will not, but it's what Eric, there is a limited number. There's a limited amount of food. So I still have to make sure that everybody else in the line gets food.
Right. So you give him that little new bit, and he's like, "Oh, this is a lot better. Hey, lads, have a taste of this." And he passes the bowl along to all the people who had complained, which are all the people who've already gotten their food. And everybody takes a spoonful, and then like before like the last 4 or 5 dudes like get there, it's like one person takes a spoonful and is like, and shoves the rest in his mouth, and then those like last 5 people get in a fist fight because they wanted to taste it too. But it's not like
it's the random like
right. It's a ruckus, not a like a situation. It doesn't spill out into a thing. And like this guy who headed the complaint pokes you in the sternum. You know, like when I'm saying sternum and because, you know, he does that thing where he, you know, it's not just a tap, it actually hurts. Like, but like, you know, not in a mean way. But you know, it gives you I ain't no fool. I got eyes in me head. He's still unconscious back there. You did all that.
Don't know what you're talking about, friend. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Bit of the old hair of the dog.
So are you actually wink, wink, nudge, nudging that?
Yes. I'm actually wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Bit of hair of the old dog.
So what is going to happen here is this guy still has command of the crowd. In particular, he has command of first shift.
Okay.
In this way that he is
the loudest one.
Well, he is charismatic in the way that is piratical, whereas Ricardo was charismatic in a way that was stately and like refined, and it didn't land. He is piratically charismatic.
Before he runs off anywhere, actually, can I like because it sounds like he's going to do something or say something, right?
It's already happening. So unless the thing you want to do is punch him out or something.
I want to grab him real quick, and I'm just like, before you say what I think you're going to say, perhaps you should hear me out. I have a way that you can benefit from this.
Nah, and he turns around and walks into the crowd of people. I
cannot win.
So here's what's happening. Because you specified the exact order in which you prioritized the things, and I didn't want to turn it into a roll because it didn't seem like it had enough risk and consequence. Mm-hmm. Essentially, you succeeded on the first thing, kind of succeeded on the second thing, and will fail on the third thing. And the thing that you put in third place was that they bring their conflict to the captain. So what you succeeded on was everyone's going to like you for this. Like, you've increased your social standing. You failed a little bit, like you were neutral on distracting yourself from your own undying, unquenchable thirst. And he's going to take the entire shift up and demand that you're the cook. So we're going to go to our break. Promise you it won't be the last sea shanty we sing. So just next time, feel free to. I will always link the lyrics. I'll lead, even though I'm a terrible singer. It's fine. You know, you don't have to put yourself on the spot.
I will go ahead and apologize for immediately putting you guys on the spot.
That is how it happened.
I knew exactly. Like the second you took us down to the mess hall, I was like, we singing some sea shanties. It's happening.
Here's the thing, right? I was willing to jump in on that situation, right? And I just couldn't, in my mind, work out how I would be like Spanish Inquistador singing a sea shanty as a voice. So I was just like, I'm gonna need some time to think on this.
Dave, I suggest that anytime we do a sea shanty and the whole crew is there, just sing yourself, and all it will be is somebody in the another voice in the sea shanty.
I get that, and I'm happy to do that.
I'll try and sing in character.
Right. Anyway, so we're gonna, just because I don't want to describe the minutia. We're going to roll through this a little bit. The first shift takes some of the horrible slop and the cook by the scruff of his neck. And they drag everybody up on the deck where second shift is doing their job. And they make a huge scene. And the captains of the watch come out and they make their case that this food is unacceptable. It violates the contract. The captain of the watch, like the captains of the watch come back with, it's the first day out. Like, come on. I do not want to put up with this for the next 8 or 9 months. And then they come back with, neither do we, get us better food so we don't have to put up with this for 8 or 9 months. And then the captains of the watch are like, that's a decent rebuttal.
Do they taste the food?
Yes, and they're like, there's an obvious one of the captains of the watch who's like, yeah, I can see the problem. Like, and then the other two are kind of like, the other two captains of the watch, including the lady, are like, it's not like they taste it and they're fine with it. They may have a more regimented background where it's like, you
just do what you're told.
You take what you eat and shut up. Maybe they come from an admiralty or a navy or a military of some kind.
Like they've had worse cooks than this.
Maybe not worse, but at least similar.
Mm-hmm.
So this argument will go on long enough that there's a row on deck. There's people arguing. They're passing the food around to taste it, and then. To the surprise of nobody who has any concept of narrative structure and flow, there's a whistle, and a man shouts, "Captain on deck!" And everybody stops arguing and, goes straight as a board. And out comes onto the promenade. Captain Ratbeard.
Jack Sparrow. Oh, okay.
Has he got rats for beards, or has he got just a really piss poor beard?
Neither. He has an immaculate beard.
What region of the world does he look like he hails from?
He's not olive skinned enough to be from Pereza. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the other 3 nations, like, unless you are wearing a very particular type of hairstyle or piece of clothing, like, they're all generally white, right? Like, they're all generally like Caucasian, pale skinned. Because as we established in our world building, they're all basically populated by Bjorn's people. Style. Well, Bjorn's people basically were the ones that populated all those countries, and then they became other countries.
They segregated, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they are all from like, as a genesis point, Bjorn's land. Mm-hmm. So because they're the Vikings. So they did all this pillaging and raiding and copulating.
And Pereza
I was on the continent before Bjorn's people. I'm just saying, fuck you, Bjorn's people. The Thieves are copycats.
Right. So he has just this. It's almost dwarven, like Lord of the Rings. Like, he's got this ink black beard that is just done up in these incredibly intricate, almost Celtic like braids.
So I probably that's probably the thing that I take the notice of the most, right? Like everyone else on the ship is just like slumming it, right?
He's a captain. He owns a ship.
Yeah, and like maybe I probably haven't run into a lot of captains in my line of work, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. So
probably not. No.
The fact that I've ran into a man who takes pride in his presentation is something that I'm just like, okay.
He also wears like a very pirate captain getup. You know, he's our first pirate captain of this story. Let's not break too many molds. You know, he's
got a trifold hat. He's got like a
trifold hat. He's wearing the sort of navy shoulder thing. Navy shoulders, but also the ends are like way open and floofy, right? Like Victorian, and you
can hide a pistol up there. Yep.
Or 10. Mm-hmm. You know, big old sword on his waist.
Wearing breeches.
You know, two pistols are filled with shot and ready.
He's got boots on.
Does he have all of his limbs?
Yes, he's not missing any limbs. He's not a hook-handed captain, or he's not an eye-patched captain.
Is he scarred?
Not visibly. Mm-hmm. Not so. He just comes out looking like just a really well put together captain. He's not dirty either. Not like the Pirates of the Caribbean captains who had a ton of makeup to be like oh, they haven't showered in forever. This guy bathes. You know, this guy bathes, and most people don't in this world. So you know that's making a statement.
Does he wear eyeliner though?
No, he doesn't wear eyeliner.
But he grooms. That's the thing.
He grooms.
Sets
is the point.
himself apart from everyone else and Ricardo.
He stomps his way stoically up to the assembled masses and says, "I've done plenty of captaining in my time. This ain't no thing to have a kerfuffle on the first day." And he sort of looks to the captains of the watch when he says this. He's like, "Crew has a right. Make their complaints known. Make their suggestions known. Crew has a right to a vote. Seems like this is just a little early is all."
Have you made your intentions known, Eric, to Ricardo about your wish to be like when we were in the kitchen, for example? Did you make your wish known that you wouldn't mind taking extra work?
I mean, not explicitly, but you saw me volunteer to dole out food and then volunteer to make more food.
So maybe I look around. There's maybe like an eerie quietness after the captain talks, right?
There isn't actually. So if you want to jump in, you can, but there isn't a pause because he's going to keep going.
I do. It's like, Captain, if you don't mind me saying so, we actually come with a solution as well. I have a friend by the name of Eric, son of Eric, and I point to him, to Eric, and it's like, he has not only solved the problem of today's food tasting like swell, but he has also volunteered his own work on top of his current. And I look over and raise an eyebrow over at Eric. Do you nod or shake your head? Or yeah?
It would be impossible to do your current job and be cook. You can only do one or the other. So it's not like he can just take on more work.
I could work for 16 hours a day.
Yeah, but you couldn't do them at the same time. They are concurrent jobs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, cooking is like the full thing. It's like, he is a man who knows how to throw spices together in a bowl and make enough food for people to be happy. I suggest we nominate Eric here to take precedent over the current chef.
Crew's got a right to a vote. Crew suggests a new cook. Cook's a good job. Well paying. Not hard to labor. Plenty of folks don't got no business doing it. Want to do it. So that's the crux. That's the sway here, gents. voting in the new one, voting out the old one. New cook or not, this guy or not. Aye? And there's mumblings of ayes. And he says, all right, so we're all going to go down to the food chute. Captains of the watch are going to call their shifts. We're going to have a vote. Simple as that. No need to lose any heads. And so he heads down. And there's a pause where the captains of the watch look at each other, but they hop to it. They call your shift, they call the next shift, they call every shift. And the food chute is just too small for everybody. So like there are people who file out into the hallway a little bit and are like looking in and that sort of thing.
I also like the idea that this guy wakes up and he's no longer chef anymore, and he's just like, huh?
He is still unconscious, which is not painting his position in the best light.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move over to another thing that is mentioned in the rules briefly. For those of you looking at the Roll20, 7th Second Edition, especially its pirate expansion, is well aware of the democratic nature of privateer vessels. But it says it is complicated and difficult to role play 60 people having different votes. So instead, you should make any situation in which there is voting, split it up into larger groups among the crew who would have like-minded opinions. And then player characters who might want to sway the vote will have to sway the vote against groups as opposed to individuals.
Okay.
And it suggests making officers of the ship their own separate group because they have a huge voice, and then like larger things. So what I've set up here is a big wheel, and just so we can keep track of in the future, because I don't think this is going to be a particularly big deal. But in the future, when it's time to go somewhere or do something, as long as you're on a pirate vessel and not a military vessel, there's going to have to be a sequence where everybody votes, and we're going to use this to keep track of like changing larger groups' opinions and minds towards the ends of the player characters, especially say when one of the player characters wants to go somewhere in particular. This will be how we manage this sort of thing. And during those votes, we'll change the labels as is perhaps relevant. So it won't always be broken up like this. Like, if the big vote is in between shifts, for example, as opposed to skill sets, that might be how we decide to label. But in this case, I don't think it matters. The guy who caused a ruckus is going to be the captain's going to put him on the spot to make his case, and he will. And he'll be like, "This slop is unacceptable. I'll save some of it so you other shifts who haven't had food yet can try it out, see what you think." And he passes it around, and people are like, and somebody says, "You just pissed in this." He's like, "No, I didn't. That's how it came." So
what I'm getting from this is that the chef, cook, whatever, got absolutely fucking sloshed on whatever, rum, grog, and basically didn't know what he was doing. He's probably like the best chef in the world, but he's like an alcoholic, and he's bad chef when he's drunk.
He might have vomited in the pot, and he's just like...
He probably pissed in the pot, as just mentioned.
Stir it in.
So, before this voting goes down, I'll turn to Eric. Like, Eric, would you want to be the chef of this crew? This ship? This vessel?
I don't see why not. Keep me busy.
Mechanically question for you, Wreckage. Can he take more than one role on the ship? Can he be on the medical staff and also be a chef?
No.
There you go.
There's just too much work. Like, they're full-time jobs. So he's either one or the other.
Well, okay.
There's a saying,
and that is a perfectly acceptable answer. But we've already established that most of what they're going to eat is like stews and gruels and stuff like that, which is, prepare it and then cook it. And even if we assume that it takes me 5 hours to prepare it, then the rest of my day would just be serving it at the different shifts.
You're supposed to make a different meal for each meal.
Okay.
And each of those meals is supposed to feed the entire crew.
The whole ship. So
you do the same thing 3 times.
Yeah, that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's still like that's not the full day.
Oh, it is. I mean, that would be my.
Yes, it is the full day. So the point that I'm getting here is, right now, what my character is trying to do is have absolutely no downtime where he has time to sit and think.
Well, so you will probably just collapse and sleep, because you still do need to sleep, mind you, right?
Okay, so this job is taking basically 16 hours.
Oh, totally.
Okay, all right. That's perfectly okay then.
So which mechanical job would you prefer then? Medical or chefing?
I mean...
Because I created an opportunity for you to do medical, but if this is your opportunity to do chefing, if that's what you prefer.
Yeah. Here's the deal. As a player,
James is trying to say something.
Am I muted?
No,
you're here.
You just don't say that.
You need to be a little bit more forceful. You need to be like, "It's my turn."
Yeah, sorry, James.
I can't be though, can I? Well, anyway, just remember, you have to serve the captain and the higher ups as well, which means you'll have a bit more influence on them.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, as a player,
This is a more important job.
But as Eric's going to take the job that comes up. He's not going to be like he's not a schemer. So he finds himself in this situation. This is what he's going to take. And since you didn't, so yes, I'll be the cook. Thank you for the opportunity, though. I do appreciate it.
The conversation is going to, and honestly, this wasn't going to happen until you volunteered and then also made nicer food. I mean, you really put yourself in this position. The conversation is going to go with him passing the food around, saying, we need a new cook, and then they're going to end with, and what's his face over there made it not taste like shit. So he obviously he's got a brain between his noggin. And just make him cook. And that's going to be punctuated by like a lot of nods and like, yeah, I don't know why not. The captain is the one who stands up and says, the important thing about votes. It's very important that there's always a counter argument. You don't ever let anything just go, right? So, Eric, son of Eric.
Yes, Captain.
Do you feel competent serving my crew 3 squares a day, myself, officers included? Can you do it?
Think so, Captain. I mean, know how to make a good variety of stuff. We cooked for the homestead, some of the village fairs.
It's not quite 60 people, though, is it?
Well, the fairs were.
I'll sort of like bend down to Ricardo and go, is that a lot?
It depends if he's from a very large village. He
sounds more than 6.
It's more than 6.
Yeah, I look at him and was like, there's a lot about the world that is more than 6 stone.
I mean, Captain, all I can say is, if I don't do it well, I'm sure the men will tell you, and I guess I'll be back to swabbing the deck or off of it.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna go that far. I say it's Captain. Captain's got a vote just the same as everybody. All I expect from a man to give a good shot, be willing to go back to swabbing the deck if he fails. Right, lads? That ain't unreasonable. And of course, this is met with like a huge like pop from the crowd. Like, yeah, that's totally reasonable. What he said is very rational, and also the captain supports it. He's like, right, so let's put it to a vote then. All in favor of Eric, son of Eric, replacing this asshole who's still fucking unconscious, say aye.
Aye.
Does anybody in the player characters say nay?
No.
So.
Aye.
So this will be a literally universal aye.
So, Wreckage,
Yeah.
did I do it well?
Yeah, you did do it well.
You know, when you said yes, Captain, I just like instantly had a fucking flashback. like you just like, yes, Captain. I was like, like I got transported like 5 months into the past, and I'm just like,
What happened 5 months ago?
We were playing Void Barons, and I was captain, and Eugene was a crew member. So he said, yes, captain, I captain a lot. He was the only person who did, though, because Dave and the rest of the crew had absolutely no respect for the office or the title.
I had to make sure that I said it exactly with the same intonation as well.
You did, too. It was like, oh.
that's what triggered me, man. Like,
Are you triggered?
It was very spot on, because I would often be like, Ed and I.
Yes, Captain.
yeah. Yep.
I would just say people's names and expect them to say yes, Captain, and only Ad and I would ever be like, well, to be fair, Mersim also would say yes, Captain. He would also recognize my authority and skill and grace and God Emperor given right to lead.
And then you stabbed me with a sword.
Hey, don't spoil that. Jeez.
Anyways,
Anyways, going on. Continue.
Right. So there is a universal yes, aye. You are now chef. However, captain's privilege decrees. All right, fair. Whether he wants to or not. I already get the sense that you're a bit of a workaholic. Ain't fair to no man to swab the deck for his shift and then go to cooking the rest of the day. But for the rest of the day, y'all still have to put up with this slop. My apologies. I take full responsibility. New chef's job starts tomorrow, first thing in the morning. Can you put up with 2 more meals of crap for me, lads? And having previously won over the crew with his piratical captain charm, there is another aye. He's like, all right, back to work. And the people who were asleep go back to sleep, and the people who are doing a shift go back to shift, and the people, your shift, who was off duty,
gets to eat the rest of the not horrible gruel that I made.
Yeah, just about.
They're just like, why did I vote for this? This is fine.
I'm gonna be like to whoever's near me. He's like, you better not let the chef know that he's not the chef until tomorrow, because he might make the meal even worse.
I would 100% love to see his reaction. Actually, it might be the most fun we might have on the ship for a while.
So do you go over and wake him up?
Yeah, but we might want to wait till once he's finished his last cook thing. Putting food in. Yeah. When I say food, I mean loosely associated with food.
Okay.
No, am I not making any sense?
No, you made perfect sense, Stone. I gotcha. I mean, I don't know if he's going to wake up, to be entirely honest. I mean, He just slept through his entire replacement.
You look over to where he's supposed to be unconscious, and he's not there anymore.
I'm sure that won't become a problem.
You hear retching in the background, and then the stirring of a pot.
You hear the stirring of a pot. You don't hear retching.
I don't think it'd be wise to eat anything until tomorrow.
Well, I mean, we've all had dinner, I think. And I apologize, Garcia. It seems I've squandered the information you gave me.
Oh, don't worry about this, friend. If there's one thing you'll learn being around good old Ricardo is that I will create many opportunities for you to benefit from. It's up to you whether you take them or not. Sometimes you can make your own, as you've valiantly done today. I look forward to eating something that doesn't resemble how do you put it in your country? Bourgeois?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Garcia, but in my land, I believe we would call this dog vomit.
Wait, you eat the vomit of dogs from your country?
No, you don't. That's kind of the point, Garcia, that this is not fit for consumption.
Ah, you are like the man who says one thing but means another.
You are an interesting man, Garcia.
Oh, well, I do have many faces, yes.
Bjorn! We'll pass this for dice games up in Thrin these days. I kind of just meander towards Bjorn and Stone.
Oh, I'll take it that that conversation is over then?
I'm assuming you were joining us.
Oh, yes. Why not? I have much time until I naturally fall asleep, so perhaps I can get some money from you.
Right. So the sort of big hits of the day have occurred. Your shift is done. You've gotten into a kerfuffle in the galley, which has resulted in one of you becoming the new ship's cook. You've met the captain. Is there, I mean, other than like the romantic image of, you know, the pirates after hours boozing and gambling the night away, you know, some guy with a fucking fuck, hold on a second. What's it called? Squeeze box. But not squeeze box, the actual official term.
Accordion?
Accordion, thank you. Don't know why it slipped my mind. Some guy with an accordion, you know, playing. Some people, you know, it's the accordion. There's always a pirate with an accordion. That's the thing that the pirates have for some reason. They have little tiny accordion and they play the music. And
having never been a pirate, I believe you.
It's a stereotype. There's always like if you see a picture of a pirate ship, there's a guy with an accordion on like the mast or whatever, just going to town. He's also wearing like a striped shirt and a red beanie.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That guy.
Waldo.
So considering flutes,
I was gonna say Waldo?
much more common.
Waldo? I mean, I guess. Right. So other than that romantic image, is there anything else that player characters want to accomplish or do specifically
Within the
specific
first day?
scene? Yeah, within the first day.
No.
I mean,
Oh, I need to find my bed.
Stone won't like gamble because he doesn't understand numbers.
Sure, that's fair.
I mean, dice, there is no greater than 6, so
Well,
you're good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what the 5 dots mean.
It's a number.
I try very hard to teach Stone how bones work, like how dice work. Like,
Yeah.
I want to say right now that the gambling is the Witcher 2 dice game.
Never played it.
That poker type thing.
Yeah. Dice poker.
No,
dice.
I'm pretty certain that it's the evil dice game from Davy Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean where you sell your soul for it.
No one's ever going to do that.
I already did that this show.
Yeah, but that was months ago.
It feels like it was just yesterday.
The romantic image of pirates teaching each other sea shanties and gambling and drinking, and the night goes on, a little lantern lit and hanging in the bunk room, and out to the starry sky and the pristine placid ocean, and like it's all very sweet and great, and everything's fine. And unlike usual, I'm not going to pinpoint this description with then revealing like we cut to
Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah, like we cut to the evil guy's plan where he's evilly eviling and then setting on the building on fire or something, or like sails on the horizon.
Other than the fact that there are now sails on the horizon.
Well, like I said, Stone would spend most of the night, until we have to go to bed, trying to get to know these guys, because they're the ones that he knows.
Well, why don't you give us a taste of that? What are the actual questions that you want to ask? What is it that you want to learn about them? Are they going to tell you?
Oh, Baka, you're going to make me roleplay.
Yeah. Because I'm out.
Wait, what is this? What kind of show have I landed on?
You mean I can't just roll dice and impose my will upon you?
I'm out of content, so if you guys don't start talking to each other in character, we're going to outros.
All right. Well, okay. Well, so, who does he like the most?
That's kind of a decision for you there, bud.
He likes you all equally. So he's like, so how was your first taste of, being like proper ship hands? Oh God!
Oh!
I ruined
Musical
it.
chairs.
I ruined it. Go ahead. Continue.
Henley's changed everything.
It might have only changed for us.
No, it
Changed for the stream too.
Oh wait, now I'm Eric.
Oh God!
Damn it!
Where have I gone?
Don't look at the man behind the curtain. So you need to dance.
Look at the man behind the curtain. Well, Stone. It's not really my first taste of being on a ship, though.
I do have a question.
Go ahead, buddy.
How the hell was you first mate? You ain't got a bloody clue.
Second mate.
All right, second mate.
I have no idea. So basically, so there I was underneath the ship rowing, and great exercise, terrible hours.
I got another question.
Go ahead.
Why weren't you using the sails? Why was you rowing? Look, this ship's got a sail.
So apparently, there was a storm and it ripped the sails, and they needed to get them repaired. And until then, there was rowing.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, you only
know more
row
about
when you
ships
get
than
in.
I do.
When you get in the rowboat, you row then. You
Mhm.
don't row these ships. And if
No,
there
it
is a
was
storm,
it was
you
it was
bring
it was a bigger ship.
You bring the sails up.
Yeah, that's how I understand that. That's how it's supposed to work too. Not on this ship, apparently.
Oh, am I gonna have to teach you things?
Yes, you probably will have to teach me things, Stone.
Oh, okay.
But it's.
Yeah, just so
I'll tell you
know.
what.
All right,
I'll teach you how to play bones, and you
so
teach
you-
me how to ship.
So so when someone says they're going to the head, it means they're going to the bathroom.
Oh.
Wait. We have a different meaning for going for the head. It means you attack the head. So when you're in combat and says someone go for the head, do they actually refer to urinating on the opponent?
I don't know. I don't normally set myself out to go into combat. I might have a fight, but That's about it, really. I don't.
So
really,
when you want to punch a man in the head, do you actually say, "I'm going to pee on you"? Is that what's happening?
No, because you don't really go, I'm going to try and hit you in the head and tell them what you're going to do. That'd be silly because they'll see it coming.
He's got a good point, Garcia.
To be fair, though, you wouldn't outright say that you're going to pee on someone either.
That is also a solid point. But can you imagine big man over here punching someone in the face? Their head would literally just get detached from the body.
I tend to make it a habit of not being peed on, I guess, as you would say in your land.
It's just called the head. That's what the toilet's called. You go to the head. Don't. That's what. Well,
you
Stone,
know,
I'm going to turn to Stone will turn to another pirate or whatever crew member and go, "It is called the head, right? The toilet."
You see, he's busy peeing on himself.
He's not peeing at all. He's not paying anybody attention. Oi, pirate. Unnamed pirate.
Oh, unnamed pirate is being talked to?
Yes.
You put in some work, Wreckage. Jeez.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were going to accost an unnamed pirate in your pirate character.
He's out of content, guys. Okay.
I said it was out of content. I'm out of content. It's gone. It's done. I've got this. Look, behold. This is the box where I keep my content. See that it is empty.
What is it?
Well, he asked you,
all right,
since you weren't paying attention, is the restroom actually called the head?
I mean, do we want me to name it something horrific, just like the food chute?
No, he's the experienced sailor, and he called it the head. And then Ricardo messed with him and convinced him that maybe it wasn't called that. So
no, it's actually really called the head. Then. Right. So, but he's asking somebody else.
Yes.
Let me sleep.
It's just a quick. Look, it's a quick question. You're not even asleep.
Yeah,
I'm asleep. You answered. Don't bloody lie.
I'm trying to sleep. That's how sleep works. Now I'm mad and I'm awake. What do you want?
In the toilet, it's called a head, right? When you say you're going to the toilet, you say
he stops looking at Stone and starts looking at the other three of you who've been awake and talking. He's like, why did you let him wake me up to ask that question?
I wouldn't just wake someone up. I would have.
I'm not talking to you.
Oh.
Why did you
in character.
let him wake me up to ask that question?
Why are you sleeping in the poop chute? The food chute?
This is the fucking bunk!
Oh, we're in the bunks now? Okay.
This is where you
Have
hang
you
out.
seen the man? Do you think we can stop him from doing whatever he wants?
Why don't you just answer the question and then go back to sleep?
It's because he,
Yes! A toilet is referred to as a head.
So there you have it.
Sometimes, in some places, in certain contexts, in certain languages, in some cultures.
All right, so on this ship, it's called the head.
Yes, so if you say, I'm going to go for the head, you're going to pee on that person's head.
So if there is like a man's head and it's in the basket and you're taking it to, say, a person who looks at the head to see if it's, who its head is, right? And he says, pass me the head. Is he referring to the fact that he is urinating?
Can you answer this question?
Don't wake
I've
the
got to
man.
be honest with you, Stone. I also am confused.
What
Garcia, why are you so obsessed with urination?
Yes, it's a little weird. I'm not going to lie.
All right, we'll keep things simple for you because you don't understand. We just call it the toilet for you, all right?
That is generally what a lot of people call it. In fact, in my land, we just call it going to the toilet.
All right, sure. we're gonna go to the loo. Yeah, we'll have that.
I'm sorry. What is the loo?
It's what some people call the toilet.
So you play with the head in the loo while you're going to the toilet.
There is no head in the. I'm confused now.
So Bjorn, what did you do before we ended up on this ship?
I told you I was a craftsman.
Yes, this is me subtly changing the subject, Bjorn.
Made tons of swords and armors. You name it. I've made it.
And how are you going to use that on the ship?
I have yet to think of a way to apply that.
Well, the simple answer to that would be that you sharpen swords, keep them maintained. Oiling weapons is a very good pastime. In fact, it is important to make sure that swords can be removed from scabbards without rust. And sea salt tends to make metals very volatile, I guess.
Well, Garcia, while you were working today, did you happen to find anything out that might benefit Stone and Bjorn, as I seem to be situated?
Is any of you good with blood?
No.
I'm good at making people bleed, but what do you mean by blood?
I like leaning close and it's like, there is potentially an opportunity to...
Out with it?
Well, an opportunity to join the medical staff, yeah. They are very overwhelmed, I guess you could say. A lot of people hooking themselves for some reason. It's weird.
Wouldn't say I'm good at putting people back together.
Well, I didn't.
There's also the Dave. Just to remind you, the other job you found was assistant to the quartermaster.
Oh yeah, I thought there was only 3. I thought there was a chef, the
record keeper, and you invented they need help with medicine. That was never one of the jobs that you overheard them needing.
Okay, right, cool. Yeah, I was like,
so you and then found 3 and created an opportunity for a 4th.
Oh right, yeah. So and it's like, well, the other one then is probably something that you can do beyond.
Yeah. What is it?
It is simply keeping stock of inventory on the ship.
I've managed inventories before at my shops before.
The quartermaster is looking for an assistant, potentially someone to do his dirty work, and then maybe you can come up from there. Maybe take his job from him.
It's better than scrubbing the decks.
I agree. Anything is better than scrubbing the decks, even using another man's head for pleasure, as Stone likes to say.
I don't think that's what Stone was saying.
I also do not believe that is what Stone was saying.
He said he plays with the head in the loo.
No, you said he played with the head in the loo.
No, I think I'd remember if I said something like that.
So you do know what the loo means?
Yes, I'm fucking with all of you.
I slap him like heartily on the back. Garcia.
So more about this job.
Yeah.
What will it entail?
Being a gopher for the quartermaster.
I guess it's better than what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Where should I go about, and who should I talk to about this?
Or perhaps making friends with the current quartermaster might be the way to do it. Maybe sit next to him at...
Did you get a name?
Did I get a name, Wreckage?
Of the quartermaster?
Yeah.
No, he's just the quartermaster.
We can find
them,
out that
or it.
information, though. It's not going to be difficult. There's only so many people on the ship with so many roles.
So this is what you were doing earlier today when you were...
Yes, of course. Finding things that is more appropriate for a man of my stature and talents is something that I prioritized and cleaning those down.
Yes, of course. We couldn't ask a man from Pereza to actually get his hands dirty. Not
See?
with
You understand.
labor.
We have people who clean, yes, of course. And they are of present nature, yes, but they take pride in their work. I take pride in mine. It just happens to not be bending over cleaning wood that has been thus cleaned already.
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't generally like clean the wood.
Yeah, that's what you were doing today, though.
No, I was up in the mouse.
I actually didn't see you at all, so I just assumed you were swabbing the deck.
Kind of hard to miss.
I was under.
No, this ain't the.
I was impressed with his ability to actually get up there. I assumed for a big man he wouldn't be very agile, but I was impressed.
Some of the fastest people I've met have actually been obese.
I'm not fat.
He's not obese, he's just big.
No, I was making a point.
That looks can be deceiving.
Yes.
Bjorn, I think you're figuring Garcia out.
Unfortunately.
How do you make an obese? Do you have to like put a carrot on a stick or something?
To make him run the faster? No, he was just very talented at deceiving people. Like, it is one of the best traits a man can have in the underworld is to deceive his opponents by making them think that he is something than he actually is. A chameleon or something of the like, you know?
What's a
It's a lizard that changes its colors based on its situation.
Oh, so Jeff upstairs on the mast, he wouldn't be able to see it because he's colorblind.
Right, so that's what we're gonna call it for the evening. On that brilliant callback.
That's
good. Great show, everybody. I think it was pretty good for getting us back into character. I'm super not confident with the rules still.
I'm gonna spend the week and Google and see what I can
We'll
find
figure it out.
for like clarification on rules.
Yeah, well, I think that's not uncalled for. I might try and find like an actual play video of somebody who's got
Even
more
a podcast.
experience. If you're watching this YouTube video and you know what we did wrong, or if you know that we did nothing wrong, please leave a comment. Share, subscribe.
I think the biggest hurdle is in how different it goes about producing the same results that we're used to.
Yeah, no, it's I'm excited for the differences. I just don't understand them. I think part of it is like
I think you have to just approach it. I think the thing is, like when I was doing Dungeon World, it was a different like approach that you had to come at it, and until I read something that clarified how you approach it, it didn't
that's
make
the thing
that much
about
sense.
that's the thing about Dungeon World. That book is very tight and specific, and you read it and you understand the rules.
I think I disagree. I think there are things in there that are really bad.
I disagree.
examples.
I don't really think they did a good job explaining how the actual minutiae of that game works. But
well, I mean, to each their own. I feel like this book is very narrative, like even as a PDF for rules.
there's a lot of like example plays in the book, which you know helps drive their point home, but it doesn't answer questions about
I understand what is supposed to happen, just not how, why, or when.
Yeah.
Because there's all these examples, but the examples don't come with also they could have done X, also they could have done Y, also they could have done Z.
I mean, I feel like, at least as a player, from my perspective of the system, the biggest thing for me is retraining my brain to look at the system differently. Like, not as this is the situation, I'm going to have to use X skill to resolve it, or even I can use X skill to resolve it. and it's more of, okay, this is my character. He's going to do these things.
As a player, the best advice I can offer is don't even look at your skills. Just play your character, because the GM is the one that decides.
Will tell you what skills to use.
What tells to roll, right? So, if you explain yourself well enough to the GM will go, okay, it looks like you're trying to hide, but you're trying to do it gracefully or something. Here's the 2 things that you should be using. So it's less about like, I want to use my charisma to charm this dude. You could, you just intimidate him, and the GM will be like, okay, it sounds like you're taking a risk. Use these 2 things, and let's see how many raises you get.
Yeah, like, so it's like you're not playing a character off the character sheet. You're playing a character, and the character sheet just comes into play in like specific things. You're not like trying to use skills to solve a thing. You're solving a thing a way. And the GM will go, oh, it sounds like you're trying to use this. Roll to see how many times you can attempt to do that.
Yep. That sounds pretty much how I imagine it going. So I was just like, the part that was lost to me and was thankfully answered in this session was, because everything, like when you do an action sequence, it'll make sense. And when we do a big dramatic sequence, it'll make sense. But the part that got lost to me was like,
I don't know, maybe.
What do you do in the in-betweens? Like when you want to, Yeah,
they can't all be giant fights.
Exactly, right? So what happens when you want to, outvote someone from doing something? Or when you want to do a one person, like, I'm going to sneak underground and find something. Like, there is nothing in the game that allows you to do that. It's either all the players participate or none. And that, what was brought up today was like just a single risk with like consequences and outcomes. It made sense. Like it just made sense in the system. So yeah, cool. All right. So let's do some shout outs. Eugene, let's start off with you, my man.
Hey, we're back. We're doing it. We're gaming. As long as we can avoid any, natural disasters, I'm looking forward to doing pirate things for a good long time.
Yarg.
I'm liking how
I'm super excited for it as well. Like, there's the one thing that hasn't been addressed yet in this game is that we pick up, like they actually say in the book, and I don't know if Wreckage is going to do this, but in the book they say to only pick up in the situations where there's something that is risky or risk endeavored for the players to do. Otherwise the game doesn't work, right? So like we can't just be like every day it's now day 2 on the ship, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing like that in here. But yeah. It's not a day-to-day game, it's like a montage between scenes game sort of thing. So it'd be interesting to see how that works, right?
So,
well, other than asking what do you do in the period between A and B, I almost only ever show the important parts of stuff as it is. It's just in my world, important stuff happens back
all
to back.
The time. Yeah.
Yeah. It like, we're only progressed like 2 weeks in Vampire LA at Night.
We only did a week of 22 episodes of series.
It was 3 weeks in real time over 22 weeks, and like a large portion of that 3 weeks was like 1 or 2 3-day time skips. So I mean, but the problem with that
real time,
yeah, I mean, I play mostly real time. Like I think this one might have more skips because sea travel. There's going to be a lot of, and then you guys agreed on where you were going, and nothing of importance happened until you got there.
No. I want to hear about how Stone swabs the deck.
Well,
he does.
I will always ask, does anybody do anything in the time between, getting there and not? But if you guys want the game to go quickly, you could just say no.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Anyway, Eugene, let's continue with your thing.
So I'm excited about the game. There is some, I feel still some discomfiture with the system itself, but I think that happens every time you go into a new system. I have complete full faith in us as players and Wreckage as a GM to figure it out. even if it's not 100% correct by the system, it'll work for us for the show. And I don't think anybody would fault us other than random YouTube commenter 347. I see you out there.
Hey, 347.
I know that you're going to be mad every time we mess something up.
Shout outs to 347.
Yeah, 347, leave your comment. I'll read it. I will feel suitably hurt and shamed for my mess ups. And then we'll both move on with our lives and it'll be wonderful. Anyway, if you want to find more of this face, you can find me at twitch.tv/Ujun. I play a variety of things right now. I'm getting really salty at XCOM. And then after that, I'll probably be getting really salty at something else. I will be playing Eurofisher or Eurofishing 4 or something like that.
Okay, motherfucker, we need to talk because I'm looking for a let me do like fishing. I just want to do fishing, but I don't want to do arcade fishing. I want to do like, all right, I spend time crafting lures and then I go out and I build a boat and then I take that boat out and I fish. I fucking fish, like real-time fishing. None of this fucking like arcade like super bass like you got 30 seconds to catch a fish, motherfucker, or you're out.
Are you actually going to go fishing then? Is that what you're saying?
I love fishing in real life, but I'm looking at
I was going to say, why don't you just do it in real life?
Because I live in fucking Poland. You know, landlocked. So I'm going to pick up Black Desert, and I'm just going to focus on the fishing. But what's this fishing Euro thing you're doing?
One of my viewers requested a viewer game, and it is called Eurofishing. I'm assuming it is fishing in Europe. I'll let you know.
It's probably sport fishing, and like,
I would assume
those types of games I'm not interested in. I want to build the lure that catches the great white. You know?
Yeah, I'll let you know if it's any good. If you haven't checked it out, I really enjoyed the Arc Age fishing.
Arcade fishing? That might be another one I look into then. Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the game's really not all that much worth it, but I got to the max level, and I built my boat, and I built my rod, and I built my lures, and then you take a chum bucket out, and you put it on special slots.
Someone out there will make a fucking survival game where it's focused on fishing.
There you go. Let's go.
Eventually, they will. Anyway, so that's me. I'm excited to be back into this. I'm really looking forward to the system, and you guys are an awesome cast. Thanks for having me.
All right. How about Prylor? How about that booty? Talk about it.
I obviously haven't been at my computer for a few weeks now, but I'm coming back, and think I'm gonna be starting to stream some Divinity 2 because I played a bit of that with KO, and it was my first time ever playing any of that series, and it's a lot of fun.
Divinity is like, I'm going to experiment with different things. The game, I love that game so much. Maybe we should have a chat because I would love to do like a multiplayer version of that pretty soon. But I've made an entire skeleton party.
Yeah,
yeah,
and just acid everywhere.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah.
I love how there's so many things can interact differently with different things, and I just love that. So like, I'll use acid to damage people and heal KO, who has a skeleton right next to them. So it's just like it's really cool that I can do that. And then when people heal the skeletons, apparently that's how you can wound them with healing. So I think that's cool interaction. I love that. But what's up?
Is it better than the first one, the first Divinity Sin? I found the humor in the Divinity Sin absolutely just terrible.
No, it's more of that. But like the thing is, like, that game is very weak in its early game, right? It's like, the way I describe it is like, oh, it's Dungeons and Dragons, but like after like week 4, you know, like after week 4, aka after you get past the first act, aka grind that shit out, motherfucker. That's when the game gets good. I never made it past the first act in the original Divinity Sin because they made the progression for the XP grinding is very bad in the first one. And the second one, it seems okay. So.
Yeah, all I know is I played it yesterday for like 7 hours straight.
Yep.
looked at the clock and I was like, oh shit, I have to be at work in like an hour. That sucks.
Easy answer to your question, James, is yes, the second one is better.
Much better.
So,
The pacing is considerably better in the second one.
That is definitely
mechanically. I can't speak to the story, but mechanically, it is a better game.
Mm-hmm. And you can also find me on Twitch, just Pryler, and then on Twitter, Pryler_TV. And come hang out with me.
Nice.
And that's
nice.
what I'd say.
Last but not least, from the player side of things, we have Mr. James C. You okay? How are you, sir?
I'm getting tired, but yeah. Thanks for inviting me to play and everything. And yeah, it's been great. I really enjoyed it. You can check me at James C UK or whatever Twitch. I am in the process of rebranding my name because of Cook being claimed by the right ring, and I need to get rid of that and rebrand myself.
You mean Cuck?
Yes. Yeah, it's been taken by the right ring for some reason. So I'm changing to either James Corp or something else, which couldn't be taken as an offence.
But how do you get Cuck out of CUK? Oh, okay. I guess kind of if you're fucking silly about it.
Trust me, every American that I host or go into, they will call me James Cook.
Well, James Cook is an Australian explorer or a British explorer, so maybe you should change your last name to Cook.
They never get. Well, it just needs to change so that it isn't like associated with the right ring. Mm-hmm. And a little bit political, but I've got to spend some money to like get complete like new logo and everything. Mm-hmm. Other than that, tomorrow we're doing Hero Crest from 8 p.m. UK time with Rooster, who's in chat as well, and a few others. And then on Sunday we've got Tales from the Loop, and then on Wednesday morning at 12 a.m. on Wednesday morning we've got Legends of the Five Rings. Yeah, I play video games and RPGs mostly at the moment, potentially and board games.
Nice.
Why not?
And lastly, our game master for the session, the man breathing into the mic himself, Mr. Wreckage. What up? How you doing?
I'm not breathing into any mic.
It's you, dude. It's totally you.
It's not me. Because I don't breathe.
I'm dead.
Inside and outside. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Wreckage. Thanks for joining me. I had a good time. I'm still very uneasy about these rules. These are the only rules that I've ever had trouble getting. Mm-hmm. So, like, this is a new experience for me, and I hate it. But certainly won't stop the pirate
action.
Hate
it? You've had 2 sessions of it, man.
I hate not understanding the rules. Yeah. I don't hate the rules that I don't understand because, unlike other people, I have self-perspective enough to check myself before I wreck myself. Yeah. Thank you. Please join us tomorrow for Polyrhythm. And then join us again Monday for more LA at Night, which is a rule system that I understand so well that I know that it's terrible, which is also why every session takes 15 minutes of looking up in the rules because it's anyway. Yeah, I hope you had a good time. I'm excited for more pirate story, and I am definitely excited to try these rules once I can comprehend them. That's it. That's all I got, Dave. Cool. Tell them to come back for the other shows. Tell them to like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's episode of Die Party Dead Man's Crest. We're this week will be the first week in a long time where every single Die Party game will launch and release. So it's going to be fantastic to actually...
Don't say it before it happens.
No, calm yourself. And yeah, so far we've done a pretty good job of getting everything up and ready. So it's nice to be back in full swing. Further on this week, we have Die Party Polyrhythm tomorrow at 5 p.m. PST, as well as
the reboot of Board Games with Bearded Bros Regrowth. That's what we're calling it, because beards grow back. You know, that's it. You can't get rid of them.
I don't get it.
It's the stupidest name I've ever fucking heard.
Well, the entire show is the whole point of it is that it has a stupid fucking name. So I'm glad you picked up on that.
Every time I think Dave has named one of his shows the stupidest thing I've ever heard, he tops it again.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. How long have you known me? And my entire channel is focused around a cock. So
yeah. No, I mean.
Anyway, so that's going to go up at 10 a.m. PST. That means we're going to have a very long time to spend on the actual role-playing game itself. Or not the role-playing game, the actual board game. I think this week, everyone in the channel is like undecided what we're going to play yet, but I don't know, it's probably going to be Dominion. We're trying to get in the swing of things. That'll be with Zippy and Kelsa and Doc Gast. We're also going to be looking to bring in people for that in the later games as well. So that'll be cool. Tomorrow, I'm going to be playing, for Spooktember, we're going to be playing, what's it called? The Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth game. Should be good. Hopefully I'll actually get a game that scares me for the first time.
Best of luck. I hope you don't run into the mini game crashing bugs.
Yeah, I'm looking into what I can do to fix it. Yeah, and
there's an unofficial patch. I don't know if it's still out there, but
that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, because I do realize there's some stuff in there, but the game actually looks pretty cool, all things considered. If I can get it to work, so we'll see how we go. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. So yeah, I'll see you in a couple hours for the daily stream, but hopefully you'll come back for more Dead Man's Crest next week. Bye bye.
Yo ho, and off to stream we go.